Hey YouTube, and welcome to another MicroPod episode 5. We are a bit late tonight, 30 minutes late, but some technical issues and getting everybody in. Unfortunately, Insomnatech couldn't join us this evening because he's tied up with other things. So we have another guest on as well from the community, so we'll be going through that in shortly. Before we go any further, I just want to give a big shout out to the Deaf Xbox Gamers group on Facebook. Gabriel Koss has done a brilliant job. He's been running that group for about 4 years now, supporting and giving somewhere for gamers that suffer with hearing impairment and deafness, and they've arranged all sorts of things on there, and it's a great group. So go and check them out, show your support, and if there's anybody out there with hearing issues or anything like that, you could do worse than to join that group and show them your support. So make sure you go and check them out. So we have got a big panel tonight. We've got some new names, and well, I'll say some new names. We've got one new name, and the regular guys on as well. So I'll go through the regulars first. Give a big shout out. Give yourself a shout out, Andy Mack. And I said your name right this time.
That's only because I've got it on my picture. Hey guys, how's it going?
Well, thanks for that input. That was awesome.
That's it. Yeah. There's a lot of people.
And next in line, give yourself a shout out, Del.
Hello, it's Del here. I'd just like to say a big shout out to the DX Mansion and Project Xbox. It's the community's grown really strong, so we're getting the job done, and I just think it's a cool thing. And also, my commiserations to Dorian for having his first L from me about Destiny 2.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Definitely. And the Sherminator, mate, give yourself a shout out.
Hey, what's going on? Sherminator here. Sorry about the slight delay. Trying to get used to the new protocol that our fearless leader has enforced upon us. That is the whole mute switch thing. I think I mentioned before, Chris, we respect him, mostly out of fear. So we do what we're told.
And his face.
See, you know what? Andrew, let me finish my intro. So just want a quick shout out to Xbox at Roscoe's Video Arcade, and of course can't forget about the mansion. Looking forward to today's or this evening's show, depending on what part of the missed last week's, or rather I guess it was 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. Missed that show. Appreciate Insomnatech sitting in for me. Really looking forward to speaking with him tonight, but hey, it's all good. We've got a special guest, and I'm not going to take away his intro, so I will shut my mouth right now.
He did shut it in such a cool manner, though. Sherminator, you're the cool. Now, again, we have got the roving Xbox reporter. He's live on the road, as you can see at the moment. He's just on his way to Burger King. He heard that there was an overrun of ponies trying to nick tablets in there. So he's on his way now. If you want to just give yourself a shout out, HeBot.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, yes, señoras y señores, welcome to the MicroBox X with your boy, Sherminator, MicroBox, and Delpoi, our very special guest, Dorian, and none other than Andy Mack. This is your boy, HeBot. Hopefully we'll have great conversation. Thank you for having me on once again. I am part of this new family, new movement, MicroBox of X, in the house. And I am on the road, ladies and gentlemen. We're reporting on many ponies have committed suicide. Please don't try that at home.
On the road again.
I do apologize for anybody listening to that through their headphones that have just lost their hearing. Don't forget the Xbox deaf hearing group. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus.
Going to hell.
Jesus, I can't. No, I've gone. Lastly, last minute addition to the group. Great support of the Xbox community. and member of the DX Mansion, and of course Project Xbox now as well. We're glad to have him over there. Big shout out to those groups as well. I know the guys have mentioned it before, but Project Xbox and the DX Mansion are really moving forward, and they're groups that just stay away from all that hate and bollocks that you see in other groups, you know, and we're proper Xbox groups. So, Dorian, mate, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Give yourself a shout out, mate.
Everyone can relax. Everyone can relax. Everyone can relax. The new legal is here to save the day. Hey, everybody. Everyone can relax. It's here to save the Man, it's a pleasure, you guys, to be a part of this show.
Huh?
It's a pleasure. Am I dropping?
You were a little bit there, mate, but you're okay now. You're okay now. Saying that, I can't hear you now.
Can y'all hear me?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go again.
Yes.
Okay, hey, everybody.
Don't you just love technical issues?
No, I love tech. I love
Hear me?
tech. You wouldn't have
Everybody
this.
hear me?
There you
Everybody
go.
hear me?
Can hear you now.
Everybody hear me?
Right now,
Oh,
it feels
hear
like
you.
when the X
Micro box.
and we were having problems.
It's a pleasure being here this evening with you guys. Representing the DX Mansion is yours truly, the new legal. Regular basis, smacking lame donkeys around. I'm in a good mood. I'm in my banner mood right now. True Green, representing the Xbox community. Big ups to the X. Big ups to Destiny 2 and 4K. I'm gonna leave that crow. I send my condolences. In 4K, I send my condolences. And Project X, Welsh Gamer community, DX Mansion, y'all stand up. We in the building.
There you go. A few technical issues. I mean, the thing is, I mean, what everybody that's watching this podcast needs to understand is that a lot of the people that come on the show are just general community members and that, and you know, sometimes the tech isn't quite that good. I don't know what broadbands everybody's using, but bear with it and you know, enjoy the show, because you may not be able to hear properly at times, but just bear with it because these guys have got a lot of great stuff to say. So there you go. Let's get on with the show then, guys, and hopefully the technical issues will sort of die down and sort themselves out. But the first thing I wanted to just say as well, I don't know if you guys have seen, but the Golden Joystick Awards were yesterday, I believe, and Cuphead won a couple of awards. They won Best Visual Design for 2017, and they also got Xbox Game of the Year for 2017 as well. Yeah. So well deserved.
That's what I'm going to second on that one.
yeah, no, really well deserved. I mean, we've spoken about Cuphead many times. I know HeBot was singing its praises on the last show as well. But there's some other things that need to be sort of just highlighted on this as well. PUBG won PC Game of the Year, and it also won the Best Multiplayer of the Year for 2017. And this is a game that within a few weeks' time, that on Xbox and Xbox One X, we're going to be having this game in our hands. So, I mean, the best multiplayer of 2017. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys. You pre-ordered already? Andy Mack, I mean, what's your thoughts on PUBG?
Well, I've actually pre-ordered it now. I've got the code. I just need to enter it in on the day. I heard that they didn't really want to be even given Game of the Year. Some people have been saying about the game isn't actually a full, complete game. Is it fair? Well, to be honest, everyone's playing it. Everyone's enjoying it. Does it matter? You know?
Yeah, it's true. Whether it's finished or not, if it's the most played game multiplayer-wise, then they deserve the award. It's as simple as that. And if they can do a half-finished game and get that, it just goes to show how the other people are doing in their games. Really,
the thing is, though, when I hear about these award shows, and you know, even with films and TV, I'm like, half the time there are better shows, but it's just someone else's opinion on those better shows, isn't it? So
yeah, definitely. I mean, Dale, I mean, you're getting this game, aren't you? This is a no-brainer.
Hell yeah, definitely. I've wasted much of my spare time watching the streams for it. Watched like some of the. I mean, I won't say major streamers, like, but they are in the sense because they're just exclusively to Mixer. I know a lot of Twitch like streamers, big ones, stream it, but it's just the entire unknown aspect of it that I really like. It's just every single match is different. That's why I like Battlefield as well, because every single match is different. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to being able to play it for one. But to be honest with you, it's won the best multiplayer of the year, and it's going to be on Xbox Live, which is being awarded the best online service of the year. So it's a match made in heaven for me. You know what I mean? I really can't wait for this game because I want to really frying pan someone in the face, even if it's a teammate. Even if it's a teammate.
Get Andy Mack. We'll get Andy Mack from both sides of the frying pan.
One thing I actually I've been wondering about is achievements. I know they're not really in preview games. I've supported quite a few of them myself, like We Happy Few, Fable Fortunes go at the moment. There's been quite a few others that I've actually bought, but I'm just wondering if they're going to put some achievements in. That'd be interesting.
They normally don't drop the achievements until the preview's finished, don't they? They add them at the end, but
like Elite Dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Elite Dangerous. I mean, didn't matter how much time. God, has HeBot got a Superman outfit on or what?
He's watching Justice League.
Oh dear. I mean, I'm hoping in the group actually I want to get some of the guys to set up a PUBG sort of game night so we can get the people in the groups involved in game nights. It'd be a great time if we could do some sort of Project Xbox versus the Mansion games like that. That would be really good fun. I think that's it, and we need to look at in the future. Dorian, is there something that you're looking to get? You getting PUBG?
Guys, I already got it. It's ready to be installed. As soon as I'm going digital. Yeah, man, I'm an online gamer, so PUBG is one that I have to have, man. It's in the radar. Yeah. It's already on the pickup order list. So, yeah, man, I can't wait to experience that game.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm the same as you. I'm a multiplayer gamer. I do love my single player experiences, but I would probably say I play more multiplayer than I do single player. But give me a game like Tomb Raider and I'm lost for hours. I really enjoy those sort of things. Looking forward to getting into the single player on Battlefront as well. It just seems to be one of those games that everybody's keen to play, aren't they, Dorian? I mean, that's the thing. It's everybody wants to play it.
Right. Everybody wants to play it. It's got a big following. 15 million people?
Yeah.
In the PC community?
I think
maybe
it was.
More than that by now?
Yeah. 50 million sales. Yeah.
50 million sales. That's bonkers.
That's incredible, isn't it?
I mean, what? We're talking Grand Theft Auto statuses right here. We're talking like an hysteria. And for that game to be using the Azure Cloud technology, I mean, we haven't even seen that bad boy yet. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen that yet. So I can't wait. And I hope that they implement that in Crackdown 3. I'm hoping that's going to be the big surprise. And so we get to see what this thing is made of. Because I remember watching a clip where they have actual software GPUs that could be used for the cloud, for gaming, actually. So I want to really see that. I mean, if that is true, the future of the technology within the Xbox game, and it's beyond me right now. So that means the game doesn't even have to be limited to hardware. I mean, the console system. If that's the case, that's just bonkers, man.
Yeah. I mean, has there been any mention of crossplay with this title yet? Because I mean, that would be amazing if they could get that running. I mean,
PUBG, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I think they have.
At the reveal, they did mention something about it. They said
Did
they'll
they?
look into it. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that they would have to do though is they would need to put some kind of limitation on this so that we would choose whether we wanted to play against people with keyboard and mouse. I think if they were going to do cross-play for that, because they would have an advantage for that reason. I don't know why, but I know people bang on about keyboard and mouse, but I think, to me personally, I think you need less skill to use it. I think console gamers in that respect have actually probably got a little bit more skill because they're having to do, you know, more than just move the mouse around to shoot, aren't they? So I'm not a big fan of the idea of mouse and keyboard going against a controller purely because I think they've got the advantage with speed. And accuracy, I think.
Do you realise how many PC like yo fans are going to really hate you in the comment section now?
They can, honestly, they can hate me as much as they like. For me, a keyboard and a mouse. I mean, definitely a mouse for controlling a gun sight is it's faster. There's no doubt about it. It's faster and it's more accurate, and it gives you more precise control. And I do think you need to have a little bit more of an element of skill with the controller than you do with the mouse. You know, anybody can use a mouse.
Oh, agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see where they go with that. Right, I think HeBot's in a lift or something, so I'll just ask Sherman first.
Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it? Yeah, I agree pretty much with what everyone else has said. It's amazing. Actually, from the statistical standpoint, we're talking about a game. I think HeBot's trying to join in. What was that, brother?
No, I'm sorry, Sherman. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying I am here.
That's all right. Remember, come to you next.
Oh, okay. I thought no. Take our food orders. So let's see. I'll have a big fish sandwich. I don't really care for Burger King fries. Onion rings though. So let me get a large onion rings. Let me get a sweet tea. And do they still have that little cream pie thing?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what? I didn't eat breakfast this morning. So I've been diverted. Let me get back to talking about this game. We can talk about food. The statistics as far as, and what's already been mentioned, the last I heard, it was like anywhere between 48 and 51 million.
Is that combined? Is that just PC, or is that combined with people that have pre-ordered it on the X as well, on the Xbox?
I think, honestly, I'm talking worldwide. I think that's just PC. Now, it's possible that they might actually be adding the pre. But from what I read, like about almost 3 weeks ago, maybe it was, where they were talking about active online users. So kind of negate the pre-sale thing for Xbox, I think. So, I mean, let's be honest. Okay, so if you add in even half of active Xbox Live subscriptions, so I mean, nobody actually really knows what the current console base is right now. I mean, depending on where you go, I think the lowest I've seen was 30 million, and the highest was maybe 42. So, you can kind of split the difference. But regardless, let's just go with, say, if you got 20 million Xbox that decide to get this thing. So, do the simple math. 20 million on top of, 48.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much would have to use the cloud. You know what I'm saying? And that in and of itself is like one of those basement programmer type deals to where, you got some guy that just loves playing games and he just happens to have the expertise and then he gets funding, AKA Big Phil Spencer. I mean, shout out to him for this is just a real quick side. to give mad props to Phil. And I know it seems like every other show, I'm like, it sounds like I'm trying to have a bromance with Phil. That's not the case. But I admire this guy because of his vision. And he sees things, he's got this, like, I don't know if he's from the future and he kind of knows do this and not that. And he was the one that convinced Microsoft to go ahead and do the funding, drop that massive money for Cuphead. One that went to the Microsoft board of directors for Minecraft. He was the one. I mean, I could keep going on, and no, he's the one that convinced Microsoft to go ahead and fund PUBG. So it's like I kind of always he have in his back pocket next. And so if you look at the fact that he probably already could see that, wait a minute, this thing is going to be big online. So we'll go ahead and fund this thing, make sure that it's get a solid PC base, and then when it's ready for the Xbox community, and I guarantee you, I just feel it. I can't say for sure, but it's gonna be crossplay. It's gonna be crossplay. I mean, why wouldn't it be? When you factor that crossplay factor in, which I honestly believe is why one of the Microsoft, the keyboard and mouse compatibility is coming to Xbox. I think it's largely going to be PUBG can be evenly played by PC gamers and Xbox gamers. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
I might actually be tempted to try keyboard and mouse actually for that game, just to have the advantage on the.
We might get it with the update.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it's great. I mean, PUBG. I mean, it's just one of those games that I didn't see coming, and I know Delpoi been following it for some time, and it just suddenly popped up at the woodwork, and I didn't even know what the hell they were on about. I was like, "What's this PUBG?" I've never heard of it.
I just think that the Xbox community, we have a lot of people that talk within these articles and, all around wherever you see the Xbox community at. I just think it gets misrepresented in the wrong way. They just don't understand that, console sales, great drive of what Microsoft has always implemented as far as being the main source and reason why we want to enjoy our gaming. They have always been about their service. So live is more important to them than a console sale. Why do you say that, Felon? Why do you say that? Well, I mean, because, we got a share program unlike anybody in the community. We don't have to buy multiple consoles. We can buy multiple games for a person that may not have a console. And I can literally help him out, build him up within my pocketbook, because he's my friend or he's my family member. And then somewhere along the lines, when it's on sale, he can buy an Xbox. He's going to get live because why? He's going to want to play with me. That's the community. He doesn't have to be a day one owner. So it could be 2-3 years down the line. I'm preparing this, my friend or my loved one, I'm preparing him or her to get that Xbox. And when she finally or him finally gets it, they have an array of video games that they haven't even purchased. So you see what I'm saying? Microsoft isn't worrying about that. They're looking at it like, hey, once they get that live, right? They're going to get that live. They're going to get committed. They're going to get committed because they're going to start to see the enjoyment of the community, which is going to open up more doors for them. So now they're going to get in there. You know what? The same thing that I did for him or her, they're going to do for another person. Eventually, you're going to have all these games, right? People are going to be buying that software. And the more people you encounter, the more people you embrace the gaming industry. Because Microsoft has so much money, they're not dependent on the Xbox. They're not dependent on that. That's all for pure entertainment. So guess what? I agree with Sherman. I saw the vision. Microsoft definitely is going to make that PC and that Xbox connection. Why? because that brings in more of an audience of gamers. What is the Xbox community lacking? The PC experience on the side of gaming. What's the PC people lacking? The Xbox side of gaming. So if Microsoft can bring those experiences together in games, everybody wins. I'm playing Gears of War 4 right now. I go against PC guys all the time. Does it seem like they have an advantage? No. Does it seem like they're enjoying it? Yes. So that's the whole point, that we're enjoying ourselves playing a game that we like. And in the end, guess what? When you make a good console like the X and it's performing like it's performing, and let's say, hey, at the price that it's at right now, $499, right? My PC friend may get tired of buying all those expensive graphic cards. He may get tired of doing all that upgrading. He's been looking at it like this. Hey, I've been getting an Xbox Live for free. But I don't have all the games that Legal has. So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it may be a lot wiser for me to go ahead and invest in X. I might lose a little bit of the frame rate power. But hey, anyway, because the masses on the PC, they play at a 1080p 60, maybe 1080p 30, depending on the power of the graphic card. But from what I've been noticing, the X is holding up pretty good on a 60 frames per second scale. A lot of their big games with open worlds, I can hit a 30. That's not a big deal. But you know what? Let me go on and invest in that. And then you know what? I can get the pleasure of having both. I got the PC community. If I want to jump on a game that I like that's not on Xbox, fine. If I want to join in and do some online playing with my friend, I think that's what Microsoft is leaning towards their future and their vision with the Xbox community.
Yeah. No, spot on, man. Spot on. HeBot, we haven't heard from you yet. Have you turned up at your house yet? What are you thinking of all this PUBG?
Give me the initial question, because I have a lot of things going on which I haven't been able to really hear the way I wanted to, because I have my wife and everybody else behind me. But what was the initial question?
We'll let you off. It was a long time ago. It was asked. A lot's been spoken since then. Well, PUBG basically won multiplayer game of the year and PC game of the year. So just looking at,
right?
Sorry, what was that?
And the award, right? It won the award.
It won the Golden Joystick Award for both, for multiplayer of the year and PC game of the year. So what are your thoughts on PUBG? Are you looking forward to it? Are you getting it? What's your thoughts in general about the game?
Well, here's my thought, because I'm going to come at it with a different perspective than most, because I'm not a big multiplayer fan. Now, difference being more of a playing with your friends type deal, kind of like Sea of Thieves. If you're playing with your friends, if we have a crew together, we're going to have lots and lots of fun, depending on how we, what type of games we play. And that's not something that every multiplayer accomplishes and does well. There's very few that you can think off the top of your heads. Things like, Titanfall, Gears, Halo, just to name a few on the Xbox side, right? Because we can't really mention on PlayStation because they don't really have multiplayer games. Shots fired. Anyway, I can see why people weren't comfortable with the fact that it won it, because it's still kind of a game in beta and incomplete. Because it's kind of like what the people are doing with Justice League. They're like, oh, they're not happy because we don't know the backstories for all these characters. But then in the same token, I can also see why it did win it, and it kind of deserves it, rightfully so, because it's getting a lot of attention, good praises. Everybody's talking about how good the gameplay is, how much fun the game is. So even in beta form, it has a very high stature, and it's also being, it's performing at a level that a PC game that started on PC hasn't done since, I believe, Counter-Strike, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Which was from Half-Life. So I think it's well deserved, because I really see when you talk to the guys and you've seen them in interviews, the two buddies and friends, that they have a lot of passion for the project, that they want to just continue to make the game better and better and better, that they love what they're doing. And you can see it in their optimism and how they talk to people and how they answer their questions when they're getting interviewed. and that's a beautiful thing. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I have a feeling this game is gonna be a lot more impactful and bigger on the console than people expect, because although it has grown to, I believe, I don't know if it's 50 million like Sherminator said. It might be somewhere around 25 to 30 from what I heard last. Realistic numbers, because people like to over exaggerate things. But if it is 50 million, kudos to them. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be. I just don't think that's the right number. Pure, just based on pure exaggeration, how people is, the community is, society is, that we like to exaggerate everything. But not saying that Sherman did, but I'm saying that there's just a lot of different perspectives from different people and different point of view, different people. This person said that said this, that person said that said that. You know what I mean? So regardless, it's still doing phenomenal. I have a feeling, because if you look at the attach rate, active users, I think it's only like 1.5 million, even though they have that many people already that played it. Actively meaning that play it on a daily basis. 1.5 million, 2 million. But I have a feeling on Xbox, going to hit a bigger number because of the fact that it has it's more accessible to everybody. The casual, the hardcore, and whoever else wants to move over. From PC, just because they want to get the 4K textures, because they want to put 4K textures at a more inexpensive cost, if you will, right? Mm-hmm. So I think Microsoft saw this, and that's why I think they kind of convinced them, you guys should put it on the Azure servers, because Azure servers are going to work really, really well. Because they have over 350,000 servers. But, when you play an Xbox game that's exclusive, right? And it's multiplayer, something like I said, like Gears or something like Halo, you see the difference in the performance when you're playing online, as opposed to playing something like Call of Duty or Battlefield 1 that's on peer-to-peer. You see what I mean? So they know this is going to be a very heavy game. They probably, like Sherminator said earlier, and I believe Dorian said it too, I think they probably want to make use of the cloud, probably to make a more seamless experience, to add better resolution, better frame rate, and things of that nature. So it all makes sense. And I think that's why they chose Microsoft as their partner, because they're even helping them build the final build for PC. Because they know Microsoft has the money, which is the capital, obviously. They have the experience, right? They have the engineers and the programmers, and I think that was the smartest thing they could have done. So it's going to be big, and I don't knock those who like it, because I as long as it's a good game and it makes money, it's going to help me with my type of games later on down the road with something else. Like, let's say if we get a Ninja Blade 2, just hypothetical, right? That money comes. Help me get a Ninja Blade 2. So I'm happy for everyone who enjoys it, because that's what gaming should be about. Having that diversity and that option where you can have platformers, RTSs, point and clicks, RPGs, JRPGs, action, hack and slash, beat 'em ups. That's what it's all about. And as long as you have all that in your library, that's going to define you in the long run. When you look at Sony's product, great product, not saying that it's not, it does best. But the problem is that their lineup is mainly heavy movie-centric, cinematic-centric games that are story-driven and not really multiplayer aspect or aesthetics added to it. And once it's done, you really don't have replay value. And people say, well, I don't hear much people in the Sony community say, why they don't add more games on PlayStation, which they should, because it could be done. Gears is a perfect example. Halo's a perfect example. I get it. Those are big behemoths, and those are like a diamond. It can be done, is what I'm saying. So Uncharted should have a cohesive, experience with multiplayer, and so should something like maybe Last of Us, or maybe even their Killzone, after trying so many times. It hasn't been successful. So it just proves it's not an easy thing to do. So even though Microsoft is criticized for being lacking of story-driven games, Sony should be criticized for the lacking of good multiplayer campaign experiences where you can play together through the campaign and competitively. So this is going to be for Microsoft, especially as the holiday season. The X is getting so much good praises and buzz. It's going to be the best place to play it on a console, the only place to play it on a console. I don't think Microsoft is going to be that stupid and let it go anywhere else after making so much investment. That's just my personal opinion. I think they learned from other mistakes like Titanfall and maybe, Tomb Raider, to name a few, right? Or the most prominent ones that stand out the most. But I think it's great. Congratulations to them, and congratulations to supporting them and everybody at Xbox. And another thing that Sherminator said was true. Shout outs to him, because people fail to forget he also saved Gears of War. Gears of War was going to be shelved by Epic Games, and they weren't going to do anything with it. They said they had no intentions of doing nothing with it. He went and convinced them, bought the property, and continued the Gears legacy to have more games in the future and, down and beyond. For people like Dorian that are very heavy Gears fan than myself, if it wasn't for him doing that, we would have never seen the Coalition make Gears 4. And also for bringing backwards compatibility, so that all these people that have invested all their money in generations of gaming don't have to feel like, oh my God, I got to have a console that is no longer being made. If it gets ruined, all these games are going to go to waste. Now you have at least that option, because not every game's going to come over, but I think 95 or 93% of the games will come over. You have at least that hope. I'll be able to play it on my Xbox. And then they're doing beautiful things like enhancements and wonderful things like, making it better frame rate wise, texture wise, which makes it feel like a new game again and give it a second breath of life for those who never probably even played it. So yeah, kudos to them, kudos to Phil, and congratulations. I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be what's going to happen in the holidays. I think it's going to be big, bigger than what people expect on Xbox. Maybe more consistent as far as the people playing it on a daily basis. I think the numbers might be higher on Xbox when it's all said and done, because it's more accessible to everyone as opposed to PC elitists. For lack of a better term. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a massive success on Xbox. I mean, everybody's talking about it, and it's the one game that the PlayStation gamers really want. It's the one thing that they're asking for and are pestering them for. And I mean, they've done their usual as well. But we won't go into that. They've done all the hate and shit.
Petition.
Yeah, all that. And I think I agree with you, HeBot. I think that if Microsoft have to put all this money into this game, and they're publishing it as well, and then for it to turn up on PlayStation, I think that would be a big mistake. And I'd like to see that locked down as an Xbox console exclusive. And I think that's probably what's going to happen, to be honest. I'll be amazed if it doesn't.
It needs to.
It does.
They need to start locking down a lot now.
They need to start locking games down. They need to. I know Phil isn't big on this, but I think now is the time that it's the one thing that they're criticised for.
Makes sense, MicroPod. So
yeah.
What you're saying, not to cut you off, he has to imagine playing this on Azure server, right? At a perfect seamless type of gameplay style. Then it goes to PlayStation, and you try to play it on a PlayStation, right? Because you, like me, I own multiple consoles, and it's running on peer-to-peer. It's going to be a disaster.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, as we speak, yesterday, and I don't know if it's as we speak right now, PS was down 3 times this week alone because they don't invest in dedicated servers. And that's what they need to focus on, because if a lot of people are playing their games that are multiplayer, especially now that they have a bigger install base, like a Call of Duty, like a Battlefield 1, then make dedicated servers so that they can utilize it also on your servers, and there's no excuse for not using them on Microsoft servers. Because I never understood that where they said, well, we don't want to make a disadvantage for the PlayStation owners by using Microsoft's dedicated servers. And I'm like, well, why not? There's no crossplay. It's not like we're playing PlayStation guys. We're playing Xbox to Xbox. So I don't understand the logic of it.
I understand it, Chris. What I don't understand is why people think Sony ought to change what they've been doing since the beginning. Sony's only doing what they've been doing since the beginning. Everybody knows that their services are crappy. This is not something that's not new. So when people invest in Sony, which Sony doesn't invest in them, but then they expect something great to happen within that lack of investment. It's not Sony's fault anymore. Sony's been out for almost 20 years, over 20 years, and they have not changed anything. They haven't changed anything. The biggest thing that Sony did, this is my opinion, but it's still a fact. They implemented PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus made Microsoft go with gold. We wouldn't have gold if Plus didn't come out. So kudos to them. But we cannot expect a service that's rental, where you never own your games. These guys are over there playing streaming rental games. Let's just keep it real for a minute. And they expect Sony to give them some G, like an original Titanfall game. It doesn't happen. This is why Titanfall 2 had to be dumbed down. This is why Destiny cannot be as great as it can be. I'm not knocking it now. PC, if you want to play a great Destiny game, you go to PC. Kudos to PC. But you're going to pay for that. But that's how
until the
Destiny
patch.
should be played. Hey, Delpoi,
you should know about the patch, Dorian.
we're hoping that happens, right? Because all fairness to us, we've been at that level. So my thing is, I don't understand how the single player mindset, it's a mindset, story-driven mindset, the casual gamer. Sony invests in that. Sony themselves have unrecognized and understood that they have casual gamers. And let's not forget that Sony has a younger install base than Microsoft. We're like what, 25 up to 35 and up. Sony is more like 13, 12 to what, 25. So you're looking at, that's where the majority of their gamers reside in. Now, half of that kids. They're not going to be into all that. Look. For instance, Last of Us 2. What is it getting criticized for? Oh, it's too much gore. That was too much. Why are they saying that? Because they understand their install base. They understand their audience. Certain group of kids there that game may be too violent for. A game like that on the Xbox, we wouldn't even say anything like that. That's
Dorian.
Like, hey, we're
quick, Dorian. They say that, but then they have a DLC that forces it on you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's just like, I don't understand where these are two different visions, and they always have been. Always been about with Xbox, the community side of gaming, and Sony has always been into the single player mode. What's happening is, we know that online gaming is what moved gaming forward, is what brought the moolah. How do we know that? Because there's only one company that's got 3 franchises that are what? $billion entities. Not on top of, if we want to add live or something like that, then let's add live. That's 4 things. Nintendo doesn't have that. Sony doesn't have that. So but we're not going to knock the single player experience. The single player experience is the beginning. So what I'm trying to say is, the single player experience has done its due. I agree with Chris on this aspect. If in your single player experience, add an enrichment to it. Give a community feel to it. Let's say, me and Chris always talk about this game, Dead Rising 3. It's experience. But what made it so great? The online feature, what? Anybody could jump in with a special weapon, drop it down, you can grab it and go whacking out zombies. Now that single player experience didn't change. I'm still over there on my controller. The guy online is still over there on his controller, but it brought a sense of community within the gaming, which enriched the single player experience. I'm not ever going to be sidetracked on the fact that they're going to get an Azure playing type of game, a great online aspect type of gaming over on Sony. That's the why I don't invest in Sony. challenge me. I'm a gamer. I like to be challenged.
I
can't go over there.
I can see why you're not invested if you look at your picture. Right at the bottom.
Hey, I'm gonna keep saying this throughout this podcast. I send my condolences.
Oh dear me. Right. Well, let's move on to our next subject now. Go on, blimey. I can't believe we've been going for 40 minutes already. Right. So, right. Next thing I want to talk about, guys. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to any of you about this on the groups or anything. Electronic Arts. Now, we're going to talk a lot about Electronic Arts tonight, but the first thing I want to talk about Electronic Arts is concerning their buyout of Respawn. Now, we know that Respawn was started, I believe, in 2010, and that was by the Jason West and Vincent Peller of Infinity Ward, the guys who brought us the first Modern Warfare. Now, obviously, recent times they brought us Titanfall, Titanfall 2, which Titanfall, to this day, I still think it was a solid game. I enjoyed it. It was good fun. Titanfall 2 is more polished. Obviously had the single player experience as well, which was very good. But now they're working on this new top secret Star Wars project. Now, there's a couple of things about this. One, EA's bought them out. I'll Respawn on thin ice by being bought out by Electronic Arts.
Bye bye. Peace.
And secondly, are we actually going to have a new Star Wars project in development that we're actually going to see fucking come out? Are we actually? Sorry, Sherman. Sorry,
not
Sherman.
to like cut you out there, but it's like it's thingy that thing that you just mentioned. Then, like with the are we going to have the other Star Wars experience? At the end of the day, EA like got rid of Visceral, who were working on like the 1337, like they were working on their own single player, and the actual screenshots for that looked stunning. What were they thinking? So I don't know if they like got rid of the guys from Visceral and maybe combined them with Respawn, or I mean, sorry to jump on that. It's just
no, you're right. I mean,
that really annoyed me.
This is what you've just brought up, exactly what I was pointing at, really. I mean, we've seen Visceral do this, and everybody was looking forward to this game. Now we've got Respawn, who are a strong developer. They've got a good sort of back catalogue behind them, these guys. I mean, Modern Warfare was, even to this day, is still the best Call of Duty we've had, in my opinion. It just had everything right. Has Respawn sealed their doom by doing this, or are we actually going to see Electronic Arts bring out another title that's not been made by DICE? Are we going to see a Star Wars game appear that hasn't been produced by DICE? That's my question. I mean, you started, Del. I mean, you might as well carry on, mate. I mean, what are your thoughts about Respawn, what they've done in the past, and how you see this going?
Right. I mean, for me, Titanfall 1, loved it. I think that's one of the most fluid, fast-paced, fun shooters I played on the Xbox One when it first came out. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it sold 10 million copies. Was it something like that? Like,
something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was brilliant. Then, obviously, Titanfall 2 happened, and I played the beta, didn't like the feel of it. I thought, oh, it's okay. I'll be able to play the trial, like, and see on EA Access and see if, like, it feels good, and then I'll be able to, like, make a decision on that. But no, they give us a big finger up plate saying, like, but no, you're not going to play it. So I was sort of like, oh well, that's basically just cancelled my purchase of that game. I'm never going to purchase it because that's just not consumer friendly. But anyway, to get to the point in hand, I mean, the problem with EA, and to be honest with you, we could talk about this all night. The one problem at the moment, Respawn, they've sealed their fate. At the end of the day, this is a company that has shut down, like, at least, let me think, 7 really, really good, old, established Like, studios like Bullfrog, bloody. Oh, let me think. Sorry, apart from language, though. They shut down Bullfrog. They shut down
Family show.
I know. Shut down Bullfrog. They shut down.
Obsidian.
Yeah, was it Edios as well, or did it? No, actually, no, Edios.
No, Obsidian. Obsidian.
Obsidian. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
They've
you're right, Chris.
down so many great studios. It's basically like I can only imagine what it must be like working there. It's like probably some type of factory where they whip them. You know what I mean? Like it's like keep working faster. Like they got like German subtitles and leaving them faster. But anyway,
I can give you the list now. They've shut down Visceral Game, Origin Systems, Bullfrog Productions, Westwood Studios, Mythic Entertainment.
Westwood.
Yeah, they shut down Westwood as well. I mean, they did some great stuff.
Yeah, I can't. It's just I think maybe because of what happened with Titanfall 2, and I mean, some of it, it's got to rest at Respawn's feet, but the rest of it's got to rest at EA's because they put that game out in the middle of like shooter season. You don't do that. Stupid.
No. There are others. There's others as well. Maxis, Kasami,
Maxis,
Pandemic Studios, DreamWorks Interactive.
Pandemic.
Yeah, Pandemic.
Oh, see, these are all like it just brings a tear to me eye because like they're all
mercenary.
I mean, at the end of the day, the thing that really got me like from closing down studios is obviously they closed down Bullfrog. They closed down the studio that originally came up with Syndicate. How cool was that game on the Amiga?
Syndicate,
you know what I mean?
Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Black and White.
But I mean, if they're actually like, okay, getting back on topic, some sort of straight up because I've really already done that. Is the only reason I can think that maybe that they've like decided to get rid of Visceral, and maybe they're going to merge them with Respawn, is that the single player Star Wars game they had going was too story driven and they wanted more of an action orientated game because that's what they do well. Respawn do that, you know what I mean? Like with Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2, with COD, you know what I mean? They seem to have a knack of doing good gunplay. So for me, maybe the single player version, single player game that Visceral was presenting them was too story focused. It was too realistic.
But I think I know what you're saying, Del. But for me, we've got that already with Battlefront. For me, Star Wars is, and I'm sure it is for you as well, mate. It's all about the story. It's the story-driven stuff. All they need to do is the Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah. That's all we want.
Just 1,000,000%. Yeah, they need to redo that game. They really do because that was fantastic. It always will be.
Yeah, I mean, there's an online one. Why not bring that to the Xbox? I mean, DCU's on the Xbox now. We've got so many games coming on Xbox and Elder Scrolls Online. All of those big PC games are there. So where's Knights of the Old Republic? We've even got the Star Trek one. Where's Knights of the Old Republic Online? Bring that online. That would sell shitloads. I mean, Andy, what are you thinking about this, mate? What are you thinking about this Respawn buyout?
I think it sounds like cloak and mirrors, doesn't it? We don't know what's going to happen.
Smoke and mirrors, you dumbass.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Never. Do you want to come back to me?
Sorry.
It all sounds a bit smoke and pipe to me.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first day I got the Titanfall game. I put it in my Xbox, wait for it to download, and then I went to the pub and got home, played it. Totally wasted, and I enjoyed it. Absolutely hammered.
It was a fun game to play, though. It was really intuitive, and you could feel like you could do really good stuff on it. And easy to play.
I mean, I liked the second one because they brought a campaign on, and it just looked great. The gameplay was great, but as I've said before, cover your ears, Sherman. My hands again slowed me down, so I totally sucked on the Immortal player. But I think possibly they are going to get the people from Visceral to join Respawn, and they work on Star Wars game. If not, I think the future of Titanfall's doomed. To be honest, because someone was telling me the only reason they didn't have these pay to win things in Titanfall 2 was because of Respawn. But so they just gave the cosmetic stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's what it should be. I mean, that's what those things should be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another question. I didn't even think about that. I mean, with Respawn work being bought by EA and they're now working on a secret Star Wars project, is Titanfall now dead? You know, have we seen the last Titanfall?
Well, I think the last few weeks nearly killed the entire Battlefront game. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean that's something we'll talk about in a bit. I mean that's another subject. Oh geez, don't get me started on that one. Right then, Sherman, what's your take on Respawn?
Well, you know, first of all, let me say, Chris, I appreciate the quick history lesson that you gave us a couple of minutes. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm serious, because a lot of the studios that you mentioned, you know, it's one of those scenarios where you're doing and you just all of a sudden wonder, well, hey, you know what? Whatever happened to, you know, blah, blah studio, and whatever happened to, you know, I remember a game by such and such, and it was really great. And you know, you expect big things to come from the same studio later on, and then it's like they just vanish into thin air. And the fact that you a laundry list of studios that just got sucked up by EA, and then they just basically, you know, honestly, I started thinking about the Borg from Star Trek. And it was like,
resistance is futile.
Will be assimilated, and it's like I don't want to, you know, I try to always look at things from the glass half full option. But this week when I read about Respawn and EA, it was, on the one hand, I'm thinking as it might seem, but in the back of my mind, it almost had this. Since you brought up the whole Star, I kind of heard Darth Vader's theme in the background while I was thinking about it. I mean, it was like, it was just this feeling of, and I on the one hand, I want to like hold out hope that maybe the pencil pushers at EA, maybe they'll see, well, hey, you know, this studio does put out a good product, and it's been 7 or 8 years, they've actually garnered a pretty decent reputation. Let's just leave them alone. That's what I want to believe is going to happen. But in reality, I don't know. I want to take a wait and see approach. But you know what? In the same vein, let me quick. And I thought about this too while you were reading off that list, Chris. I find it very amazing that whether it's the gaming media, whether it's just, you know, gamers themselves. And by the way, when I say media, please put quotation marks around that word. I find it very almost amusing that you got a boatload of people who cry and complain when Microsoft shuts down studios. You see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
Don't say one word when something like what's happening with Respawn from EA They don't say anything. Honestly, I read off. I don't recall there being some massive outrage. What studios did you read off?
I think it was about 10, I think. Let me just have a look.
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't recall people like, oh, look at this. They're shutting down another studio. Oh, they're just garbage. They're
I mean,
but
at the end of the day, Visceral's not even cold yet.
Yeah, well, exactly.
There's
Exactly.
9.
And then
There's
here they
9.
go. Right. That's why I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. I mean, it's I'm kind of like with a lot as far as regarding the first Titanfall. I remember, I want to say it was E3 2014. Was it 2014? No, I think it was 2013. It was either 2013 or 2014. It was 2013. When it was last game at that year's E3 for Microsoft, for Xbox, and the very last game they showed footage of. They just let the footage run. I remember the screen, the room went dark, and then the big screen lit up, and then all of a sudden you see this crazy footage, which wound up being the first Titanfall. And I remember right then, I'm like, oh, I gotta have this game. Oh, I gotta have this game. And I followed it until it, and again, it was a great experience. Titanfall 2, depending on how you look at it. I personally, I don't think I mean, at the very least, it stayed consistent, and it again, the campaign, adding the campaign was cool. But overall, fall franchise, I mean, that's something that could go on continuously if it was given the proper backing. And I'm kind of that EA pulling the strings now. It concerns me. Now, in regards to the whole Star Wars bit with the studio, I want to be hopeful that maybe, and just think about this for a second, guys, wouldn't it be something, since Respawn is supposed to be, like you said, there's this top secret classified project that's supposed to have something to do with the Star Wars franchise, with Respawn being on board with it. So wouldn't it be interesting if they somehow did a Star Wars crossover? I mean, I kind of think if it was done properly. Is that somebody's ringtone?
I don't know what it is. Dorian.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Is that your ringtone, brother?
We know you can hear you.
Oh, okay. You know what? Hey,
Y'all
guys.
lost
You know
me,
what?
man. Y'all lost me.
You know what? Guys, I think I've realized how at the awards ceremonies, when the person gets up and they they're doing their thank yous and all that stuff, and they're going on a little too long, and then they start playing the music in the back. Hurry it up. I think maybe that's what's going on right now with me. So
Oh no. I don't know what's happening. I think Dorian's got a ghetto blaster or something on.
Yeah, I had hit a rough connection. It kicked me right out. I was like looking like, what the world? So I heard it got back on. But I want to point out some things about Respawn. Let's remember how Respawn even got in their situation. They were doing some shiesty stuff behind Activision's back, and they actually got caught dealing with somebody in the gaming industry when they're not supposed to be, when they're dealing with a game or development in a game that they already signed contracts to. And Activision had caught them, and they asked them, were they dealing with anybody? And they lied. And then when they realized Activision was catching on to them, they actually wanted to go in and sue Activision. Well, they went to court, remember, and Activision won that case. even worse, which made them lose their money, actually. So here they were, what they were doing was, they was working on a game with another company, getting caught, which they had already had Titanfall in the works. So Activision couldn't get rid of them on that because they had already signed contract. So you got to look at it. Titanfall was an unfinished game that they were branching off to bring out a broader aspect and a gaming experience from Call of Duty. Remember, this is the same Infinite Ward. This is the original Infinite Ward crew that gave us Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. So they had lost a lot of respect. So where was the first place they went to? Shiesty Company number one, Sony. They showed Shiesty Company number one, Sony, this game that they were trying to hurry up and get done because they didn't have no money. Sony at the time was like, they looked at it like, they'll put it on Vita, man. And Respawn was like, can't have it on Vita yet. Your Vita's not selling like the way we want it. We need it on a bigger platform. And they was like, well, if you can prove that the first one, if you get this done and it proves that it can sell, you can come back to us. So they wrote that in stone. It was like a deal that we didn't know nothing about. Right? Mm-hmm. So when they came to Microsoft, remember, Microsoft and EA was like that. Peter Moore was still working with EA at the time. So they came in asking Microsoft, hey, we got this game, blah, 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 blah. Microsoft was like, yo, let's look at it. It's a Mac game. We have success with Mac games. We're looking at it like we see the vision. We like it. So now they're like, we go to the board. They're in the chairman office. They're all sitting down. They're all having a big meeting about it. And EA is basically like, yo, Zambella, get out of the room. He goes on Twitter. Remember this. Remember, he goes on Twitter. He talks about it. He's like, I don't like the fact that EA and Microsoft are talking and I don't know what they're talking about. He tells us what's happening. He's running his mouth. So EA and
they probably
Microsoft
go, he's using big words again. He's using big words again.
EA and Microsoft make a deal. They make a deal. And he didn't like it. Remember, he actually goes online and there voices about it. He's like, I just now finding out that my game is going to be an exclusive to Microsoft Xbox, and I knew nothing about it. It was kind of like how Andrew is talking about the way they word things. And what happened was the way he worded it kind of came off negative. And the Xbox community is kind of like wondering because we're like, who is Respawn? We didn't really know that that's Infinite Ward. But like, who are these Respawn people kind of sounding kind of negative about their game being an exclusive on our platform that we like to enjoy? So when it finally comes out, yeah, the visuals were lackluster, but the game was solid. Like Steven was saying, the game was solid and it was fun. And when it sold its butt off, we bragged about it. Now, what happened, y'all? Remember, what happened right after the success? It wasn't even 5 million in. I remember because I was in Dallas at the midnight release party because they had a huge party in Austin, Texas. They were all down in Austin, Texas. So Dallas did an opening, a big GameStop midnight release party, right? I was there. I remember by September, that game was at 4.5 million. And guess what, y'all? They were already talking about Titanfall 2. And we was like, wait a minute. We're talking about Titanfall 2 and they haven't let this game breathe yet. Because they already had Titanfall 2 in their mind. It was almost a cash grab. So when we were like, nah, when we saw that huge success, we were bugging. We was like, it won't make sense for them to jump ship when we got this momentum going. It was such a great momentum going. And then it was just those little signs, and it's childish, but you got to be careful in the gaming community. It's fragile. You got people who are loyal to their brand. And when you mess with that, you underestimate the community. And what he did was he underestimated the Xbox community as a brand. So what happened was the demonstration of Phil saying, hey, I'm trying to bring the brand back of Xbox and make it strong again. I wanna win my customers over. Well, you saw it with Titanfall 2. That was the first example. And it told Phil and it told Xbox that, hey, We are not the community to be dicked around with. Yeah, we're taking this L right now with having the weaker console. But damn it, we got some dignity as gamers. And if this guy's gonna come out and act like 10 million is nothing within the PC and the Xbox community, then we'll show him on the second round. He gets no love. And we know about our PlayStation fans. They ain't no online gamers. We knew that. I predicted that, and I'm a nobody. I was like, the PlayStation community is not going to carry this game. So what happened? The Xbox community shut it down, left it up to the PlayStation community, and what did it do? It died. It died in Japan. It died everywhere. It just died. Now, but you got to understand, they were already looked upon as jerks. They had lost a lot of credibility because they were doing a lot of shicey stuff. So it's no wonder why EA is buying it out, and they're probably going to do something with it. You know, they may make it into something else, or they may one day bring it back or something. But now, Respawn totally has no control over it. They're done.
It's doing a lot better than Lawbreakers, though, isn't it?
That's
anything's
right.
doing better than that. Anything's doing better than that game.
The same, exactly, man. The same thing happened with Cliffy B, and that's a whole other story. I can get into him.
Why you have to mention him? Really? But you know what? You know what, Dorian? Let me just say real quick. Dorian, let me just say, and I'm guessing that Chris, that MicroPod didn't explain, or at least fully explain the rules that we have around here. And that see, we treat around here, we treat Cliffy B like Beetlejuice. So you've said his name once.
Don't say it 2 more times.
His name 3 times during the show. So you've already used up one. We can't. It's just he's no.
It's off limits.
He conjures a bad mojo.
He curses.
He put a conjure in it. Hey, so what do y'all call him? So I know better next time.
We can't say it. It's a family. We can't say it. It's a family show. It's a family show, mate. We can't.
Right.
Cliffy Beetle.
Yeah.
No, we call him irrelevant.
Yeah,
that's his
it's
game.
sad, man.
Irrelevant Cliffy Beetle.
That's it.
Man.
I think HeBot's after a quick. I think HeBot's after his word. I'll tell you what, though, guys. Before we go any further, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's in the comment section as well. Before I ask HeBot, DJ Singh again is watching the show, and he watches it at such ridiculous times. It may suit us time-wise, but for him it's like 3 a.m. and that guy.
Salute, man. Salute
to him. Every show.
What a weirdo! What a weirdo!
Salute, man. Salute.
Honestly, mate.
I do it too. Don't worry.
Y'all kill him.
he is there every show watching and supporting it at ridiculous times. I just cannot thank you enough for that. And I think we've just hit an anniversary on Facebook as well. I think we've just hit 3 years Facebook friendship as well. So a big week for me and DJ Singh. Dean as well, again in the comment section as well. Big shout out to you, mate. I really do. Rough House Gaming's in there as well. How you doing, mate? Glad to see you watching and supporting as always. Just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody.
Where's Bowen? He's about.
He's talking about Bowen, right? He's not in the comment section. He's got visitors today. But I just want to say, the funniest thing I have seen ever in my life on YouTube is Bowen's unboxing of the Xbox One X. I have never, in all my years of doing YouTube, ever seen anybody unbox something on their shitter.
Oh my goodness. Do you think he's hiding it from his missus?
Wait.
That is without a doubt the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, and hats off to a man who does an unboxing on the toilet. Fair play to you.
So I heard. So the rumors are true. I haven't seen it, but I heard.
Is unboxing
and what was interesting is that I heard about his unboxing video, believe it or not, on a that had absolutely nothing to do with video games. No, seriously. No, I'm not making that up. I'm not making it up.
Do it.
I kind of think his unboxing is going viral.
I was literally at work and I watched about 5 of his shows and I saw it, and I literally died. And you know what? It was cool because
I've not seen it
so
yet.
cool.
I'm gonna have to watch
It was
that.
so
Nor have
cool
I.
because his son was around, and as a father, man, I love my son too. And the fact that he didn't sell his son out for the show at all, that's where the respect came in. Our children are innocent. He was doing it, man, and he was letting everybody know, hey, my son is around. You know, he's upstairs. And at the end, you know, it was cool to see his son. He looks up to his father. You know, and you see that, and it's just, that's real, and I respect that. And we're not, you know, people. I'm glad to know people who are genuine, a genuine move. That's what it's about. That's what it's about right there.
He definitely wasn't full of shit.
One day, son, all of this will be yours.
No, but that's what I mean.
I've got to watch this video. I've not seen it.
That's the thing. You see, that is the thing. We are an Xbox community, and we're not producing multi-million-pound bloody PewDiePie type videos, and we haven't got that. Right. But we're passionate about our gaming. We're probably more passionate about our gaming than the ones that do these multi-million subscriber channels. You know, we are the Xbox community, and the only time we could do it was that passionate. He wanted to do that video, and the only room we could do it in was his bathroom. So hats off to him, but it was funny to watch. It really was.
Did he say it was shit hot at any time?
I think the only reason he did it, to be honest with you, and I'll be honest with you, I think the only reason he did the video in the bathroom was because he didn't have so far to go for toilet roll when he got too excited. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's funny.
I bet when I bet everyone thought he was struggling to open the box, but he wasn't.
Oh, come on. The puns are going to start now.
Andy, you call yourself a friend. How could you?
You didn't hear what I was getting on the Dragon X. Payback.
No, fair play to him. And a big shout out to the Welsh Gamer as well. He's a great channel, doing really well. So hopefully I'll watch he normally catches up with the podcast a bit later on, so I'll probably get a message tomorrow giving me shit.
Hey, it can't be no worse than Delpoi giving me shit right now with the play.
I told you about Destiny 2, man. I told you. You told me.
Anyway, let's get back on point. Oh my god. So I can't even remember where we were now. HeBot, what are your thoughts on what we were just talking about? What was it? It was a respawn, wasn't it? We finished on respawn.
Yes, you were talking about.
Yes, there we go. So what's your thoughts on it, mate?
I guess the question was, what do I think about the acquisition from EA from Respawn? Right?
That's it.
Okay. Well, see, there's a couple of layers to it. First of all, I knew that EA was going to do drastic things and turn around in a different direction the minute that Peter Moore said he was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Peter Moore has got to be the most genius brand manager or head manager in gaming history. Okay? Remember, this man made Sega relevant overnight with all the mistakes they did with Dreamcast. For a short-lived time, because Sega didn't have the money, but he made them successful again.
That's right. That's true.
Gave their name and their product respect once again. Then he went to Microsoft when they just came on the scene and had only a small success with the OG Xbox. That when you put it aside to be respected, which was Sony at the time with the PS2, the Xbox One or original, right, was doing circles as far as the quality and the content and the features that the Xbox offered. Right off the jump, okay? And what he did,
hang on, he made. Somebody's got wind. Who's got wind?
Uh-oh.
And it's not Drew. It's not
It's-
Drew.
You're hanging around,
It's Dorian, I think. Dorian's got wind.
you're hanging around Drew too much in that bathroom. That's the problem.
God, it's gone quiet now. You can carry on.
Sure. So then he did what he did. He made them go forward with making all the adjustments and changes that Epic asked to make the 360. And what did 360 become? Probably the most successful console, if not the most successful of the time. Even though the numbers might not say that as far as PlayStation 2 goes. But remember, you got to take into account that PlayStation 2 came out in a time where they were by themselves in the market for almost a year and a half. It had a big following from the previous PlayStation 1, which they basically had no success because Saturn, nobody gave it a time of day, regardless of how better and good the console was. So he came and made a brand that was being looked at as these guys are not video game console gamers, and made them a viable product at home with the 360. And adding great additions like Xbox Live, right? That nobody saw coming was going to become a big thing like it is today with the independent market scene. And then, of course, now he goes to EA when they almost went bankrupt and filed actually twice and made them successful and respectful again. That's why EA had some of the best games last generation, right? With companies like Visceral, which they just closed down, with games like Dante's Inferno, the Dead Space series, which is phenomenal, one of the best series out there. And they also did one of the Army of Two, which was Devil's Cartel, to name a few, right? And they shut them down. Unfortunately, I just think the guy that's running EA right now is more on that mindset of he wants to do things as a service because they see big money and big whales spending money out there in these types of models that they're using for games now. You know? And I think it could be successful for them if people stay foolish, which that is probably what's going to happen. But it could also hurt EA to the point where they might not be as successful a couple of years from now. Because I think also now with that backlash they just got with Disney, because people were using the words that Star Wars felt like the gambling as far as their loot system and how you grind and get things through their multiplayer. I think this is going to be an eye awakener for them and for the industry, because Disney is a big behemoth that has statured, and they believe in their product and they believe in what their brand stands for. So they're very adamant about that. So if they don't renew a contract with them once it's over, it would not surprise me. With that being said, though, I also think it's going to be very hard to fill in the shoes of making good Star Wars games with another company, because after playing Battlefront 2 in the campaign, the game is amazing. Drop dead gorgeous. Nothing new or revolutionary, but it does everything that you want in a game that you're familiar with. It does it right. It does it with almost perfection, right? So that's going to be a very hard shoe to fill from just any Joe Schmo, right? Now, Respawn is supposedly doing Titanfall 3 as far as what they said. But a lot of people are wondering, and that was brought into my attention, which I think would make sense if they almost were set up to failure, to see if Titanfall 3 doesn't do well, they have an excuse to actually close them, because they almost felt like they deliberately and purposely put Titanfall 2 in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty, which was a big no-no, and they did it anyway, right? Then they alienated the Xbox community by throwing shades on Twitter, even though it wasn't Vince himself, right? But one of his workers, which if you're his boss and he works under you, he should have been reprimanded and should have been told something immediately. Listen, you do not smack or betray the mouth that feeds you. Because like Dorian pointed out, when Respawn was having bad blood, Vincent Pella being the main guy, with Activision, right? I think it was more of a money issue, meaning they probably weren't giving them enough money based on what Activision was making off the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2 franchise, right? He decided to go independent. When they came on the scene, they went to Sony. Sony said, no, we have a Killzone, we have a shooter, we don't need another one. Microsoft has Halo, but they definitely wanted something that was going to be breathtaking, refreshing, and unique. But more than wall running, hardcore soldiers on mechs. In the future, with a military Call of Duty vibe, right? So it made perfect sense. Now, what I think happened though, Respawn probably got offered by Microsoft to be bought. I really do believe that. But Respawn, since they just came on the independent scene, I don't think they wanted to be bought. I think they wanted to maintain independent. But when they saw the numbers and success that they had with Titanfall 1, thanks to the Xbox community, there comes EA behind Microsoft's back without letting them know, right? And says, listen, and I don't mean Peter Moore, I'm talking about higher ups. Yo, big dogs that prove stuff. We want to buy you and make the purse must have been substantial. When they saw that, it's like the business move. We're talking about gaming politics now, right? But again, them pushing the PlayStation version more than the one that started it, which I think they did because they just wanted to see and make it aware to the PlayStation community that they were going to have Titanfall on their console as well. So they wanted to embrace it. But the PlayStation community doesn't embrace those type of games. They embrace story-driven mocap novelas. I said this time and time again, or JRPG, right? Because that's what their moniker is. That's what they do best. That's what they've known for all the years since the PS1. Fans are like Nintendo fans. They just don't want to let go. They act like every Mario is the first time they've ever seen it, the first time, even though it's been 35 years that we've seen Mario. Of course, because of their pedigree. They're a master of their craft. They're not going to make a bad Mario game. That's almost impossible. That's like telling a person that's been driving a truck for 20 years that he doesn't know how to drive a truck. Like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, they're not going to make a bad Mario or Zelda game because they have they're masters of their craft, right? You know, basically. So, I think what happened was Respawn probably set up because if you look at the acquisition, it's $455 million. Yes, that sounds like a lot of money. If you want to put it into perspective, Microsoft paid 15 years ago for Rare, right? When Nintendo didn't. They paid for Rare $250 million, which everybody thought was retarded at that time. The money first was ridiculous, right? Now, we're talking about almost 15 years ago, right? But now, almost, again, 15 years ago, right? You have the same company with pedigree. They made Call of Duty what it is. Because let's be real, it was good in the World War era with boots on the ground, but when they did that Modern Warfare, they made that people embraced it even more. It became a bigger and viable product and universe community, right? So these guys have pedigree, right? Well, they only got acquired for $155 million, which I think they got the worst end of the stick, right? Because maybe they were offered by Microsoft a better person back then, but they chose not to. So now they got a deal with the blood-sucking demons that is EA now. I believe EA is just trying to do more games that are going to be service-based, so let's see they can catch as many people as they can to fool them in spending more money so they can make up for whatever they want to make up for in losses, or where they don't make enough after they make an investment in something like 2. That's an example. I hope that they do support Respawn. I want to be optimistic. I think Respawn still will deliver a really good game in Titanfall 3. I think they should try to maybe do what they do with exclusive gaming content with Microsoft, since they saw that Microsoft gave them the embrace and the success from the first one. To see how that worked, even if it's just for a couple of months or whatever. Call of Duty with Call of Duty with Sony, obviously, to see if it might help even more right off the bat. But I really don't want them to not do them, because if they don't do them, they close down. Then the industry is going to be in trouble, because there's not going to be many developers. They're going to get shut down one way or another. Now, I do hear that they're supposed to be doing another project, another game. I don't know if it's necessarily Respawn. I think it's also some of the guys from Visceral. With the guys who did God of War, it's more like a action style hack and slash Star Wars game with shooting and stuff. More in the vein of like Force Unleashed, right? And that's still in the works. So hopefully that will get axed and pan out for next year, because I believe it's supposed to come out next year. I think it was a deliberate move, so they can have an excuse to shut down and still acquire developing talent. Like, in the Battlefield, Battlefront, and also in what you call it, what's that other big game that they have also? It's not Need for Speed, but Need for Speed done pretty well for them too. That's another thing. But the Anthem, the upcoming Anthem. So that's what I think. It's a good and bad move, but it's something that we're gonna have to keep our eyes on and see what happens, and hopefully it's for the better and not for the worse, because they still, like I said, Respawn is still made their mark in gaming history in a big way, more than others, even with something so small as Call of Duty becoming so big, because meaning that they haven't had a lot of game in their portfolio. What they did was big enough to give them that that position and that stature in gaming. So I'd be sad if they do close them down. That's for sure. It's a 50-50 right now. We have to play it by ear and by eye and see what happens. But gamers also have to go out and support their next project, because that means a lot in the long run for them as well. Because we think it's just us not getting a good project, right, or property, but it's also us that we have to help, not necessarily EA, but developers, because it can mean their job, if we don't go out and support it as well. That's what I think.
Well, so see, this is the thing. I mean, I started getting a bit of respect back for EA. They started going in the right direction. They give us EA access, which I still think is just incredible value for money. But they seem to, the last 4 or 5 months, I suppose, they've just been doing things in the background that are just changing my mind again.
More left. That's what I'm trying to say. Since he left, things just started looking different.
Yeah. And
you know what?
Yeah, go on.
Let me just talk something in here real quick. HeBot makes a really great point about Peter Moore. To me, Peter Moore, if you look at his history, his backstory, as far as his resume, and everywhere he went, was just a company he associated himself with. It seemed that under his tenure, the company thrived, not just financially, creatively, but even among the industry. The company that he ran, whichever company it was, got a good product, and they had a lot of respect amongst their customers and the consumers. Even think of him. Like HeBot said, Peter Moore showed up at Sega and turned the company around. But before he got to Sega, you guys remember where he worked? He showed up from Sega after leaving Reebok. He was when he was running Reebok. Reebok had a reputation almost like Nike.
Do you know what's quite funny about this whole situation when you mention Peter Moore, like, because he has done a lot of good, and you say that he comes from Reebok and he went to like Sega. Well, he actually is like the CEO of my football club, like Liverpool Football Club now, because he's a lifelong Liverpool Football Club supporter, and he's like actually like involved in running, like all the like the financial aspects of it, and he gets so involved with the fans. He does everything. Like, he makes sure that he'll speak to everyone, and he's just like, he's loved by everybody at like Liverpool Football Club. But that was a mad like thing of him jumping from gaming into football. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, sorry. I think you guys call it soccer. Is that what it's called? Soccer?
Yeah, that's what we call it.
But yeah. He's actually the CEO of thingy of Liverpool Football Club now. He got instated there because mainly for his passion, because he's always been a Liverpool supporter. So we get to have him like, and hopefully, considering the amount of success he's had, I'm hoping it's going to rub off. You know what I mean? But
well, see, and that's what's interesting, and see, Dale, that's what's interesting, because the one thing I've noticed every time or heads up a company, the company does really well. They get a lot of respect, and people generally love what that company does, whether it's video games, and now, like you said, he's running a soccer team. Now, but at the same time, I'm sorry, the football team.
Sorry, it really grates on English people when you say soccer.
Yeah, I know. You know what? My bad. I know. Slap in the face.
It's good.
So my bad. I apologize. But the one thing on the other side of that coin, and the other side of that coin, is that what I've noticed is that for every company that Peter Moore has headed that does great things under his direction, when he leaves, that same company goes down the toilet.
Thank you for that.
When he was heading up Reebok, when he was no problem.
Don't let
he was running Reebok. Yeah, we can't do that. When he was running Reebok, the company was like up there with Nike and the rest of them. They were at the top of their game. He left Reebok, and I think you can find the only place you can find Reebok now is at Kmart. I mean, Payless Shoes doesn't. Same thing with Sega. He leaves Sega, and then they wound up hemorrhaging money, and they get out of the hardware business altogether. EA does great. He leaves EA, and then look at what's going on with them now. So I think you have to look at the direction from the.
He started going down.
Really matters.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, he is not only because like he has said that, like, he stated it outright, like, he has been a Liverpool fan all of his life, which, like, we have fans all over the globe, but he connects with every single like fan as well. If we tweet him, like, he's on Twitter, and he'll always respond. You know what I mean? He's such a nice guy. You know what I mean?
Has he responded about the recent Google Maps shenanigans?
No, because do you know what, Andy McKay? I did not Google what you told me to Google.
I thought it was an outrage when I saw it. I thought that's disgusting.
I'll tell you what, guys, you won't believe the the crap that goes on between these two. I have to bang their heads together occasionally. You got one calling one a hobo, the other one calling. God,
He is a hobo. If he
Sherman,
grows his beard a bit longer, then I can class him as a wizard. Then that'd be cool.
No, I'm still in Viking.
He showed
length.
me.
I've got a checkered shirt, for God's sake.
Checkered shirt there for lumberjacks, not Vikings.
As well as.
All I need to do now is get some of those braces, and you'll definitely be a lumberjack with that beard. Jesus.
Microbox, you know, it goes back to the Peter Moore situation. I mean, what we're seeing is a generational change. Moore is part of that generation that was part of the start of gaming. He was there. I mean, even though he was in Reebok, that's a generation lost now. That's it.
Yes.
National period with everything. I'm an NBA fan. I'm a street legend baller where I come from. I play basketball. I play professional basketball. She was a Harlem. A lot of people that hear about Harlem Queens, they hear about the Harlem Globetrotters. My mother back then. Now get it to where there's Globetrotters. My mother was a Globetrotter on the female side. You don't hear a lot about them.
Yeah.
The trendsetters, you're not going to hear about them a lot. Peter Moore made you pay attention to that. And the thing is, when he left, give credit due, he didn't do it because he knew that, well, this company's going to fall off when I leave. Always push himself. He went into the gaming industry because he wanted to push himself. And he's always left behind a trail. He's always not forget who his apprentice is. His apprentice is Phil Spencer. Let's not forget who Phil Spencer is. Phil Spencer's been working with Microsoft for over 20 years. What was Phil Spencer before? He's head of Xbox. He was a gaming developer. Yeah. So he was a gamer. He made quite a few games. Yeah. Right. He understands the mentality of gamers. And he sat under the arm of Peter Moore. He soaked Peter Moore up. Him and Peter Moore, best of friends. He learned from him. So guess what? The reason why Xbox is doing what it's doing right now is because guess who passed the torch? Moore passed that greatness to Phil Spencer. We got the greatness now. We got that. We got that. We got it. We got the genius of gaming in Phil Spencer because of Peter Moore. Peter Moore, you cannot get an original Sonic game, all the original Sonic games on no other platform but Xbox. Before Peter Moore left, he made sure that Sonic was going to be on Xbox and like you said on some emulators. But as far as the console goes, you can't get all and they yanked it off. Remember that they took the Sega's the Sonic games, the original games off. That's right. So it's a gap, y'all. Be patient with some of these guys. I'm not political in the gaming aspect. I really don't get into it. I can care less. The only thing I agree with Chris HeBot on the situation was that these people, they work their butts off. Let's not discredit them as developers. They work their butts off and they're feeding their families and they stay away from their families for months at a time. I understand that, technician, and it's hard to do. So I'm not going to just support any game just for the sake of supporting it. I got to like the game because I'm a consumer. So that's where the split comes in at. You got to make a great game. I'm not just buying any game just because I think about that. But you got to make a great game. These games get picked out. These games get contracted out. These developers get pulled because the companies feel like these are the elite developers. They feel like, hey, if these guys make a game, we can make millions. These are why we have different departments. Indies, AA games like Cuphead and Recore. And then we got games like Anthem and Grand Theft Auto, which are AAA games, you know, big blockbuster games, Halo exclusives and things like that. So they're just trying to, EA was one of the worst companies at one time. Yes, we understand that. The turnaround has begun. They're no longer the worst company in the game industry. They have made some good decisions. Give them time.
You're still there.
Ultimately, I'm with you. Ultimately, listen. Right? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, you
If they don't,
botted out at the end of that sentence, and it went really slow for me. It was like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really.
decisions.
can you hear me
It's
now?
actually quiet in here.
Okay.
That was weird.
Well, where I'm going with now is we give them time now to figure out what they have to do. And if they don't listen to the gamers, and I posted this, EA, just keep listening to the gamers. You get through these tough times, because we're telling you what we like. We're telling you what we'll go out and reach in our pockets for. Don't go against that, and you'll be okay right now. And then you can, once you get okay, then you can start coming up with better visions. But I agree, EA Access was something great. We needed that. To me, there's no reason for me to buy another EA game. It's going to eventually come on EA Access. So now I don't have to worry about that. I pay $4.99 a month or $29.99 a year. That's fabulous. I'm just looking at games as they come in. I judge them by the performance. If I decide to buy that stuff, I'm not there when they make these decisions. Do make a decision and they do come out. I agree with everybody that we should voice our opinions. And if we see that they're not listening to us, then you get them to listen through your pocketbook. I am 100% with that.
Can I say a fun fact?
Yes.
What did HeBot say then? I missed that.
Fun fact. Can I mention a fun fact?
You certainly can.
What is the company that Peter Moore hates more than anything else?
You've got me on that one.
No, I know the answer.
Adidas.
I know it very well.
Activision.
Sherman, the floor, my friend.
Yeah, I know what it is too.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, between Sony and another company, but I'm trying to remember.
He hates
if
Sony.
It was Activision or I can't remember. I think it was Sony, wasn't it?
It's Sony. It's Sony. Yeah, it's Sony.
Yep.
That's what it's going to be. It's
Yep.
very verbal. He had to actually be told, no, what? By Phil, because he was about to let some really dirty laundry out in a live interview.
Sir.
Funniest thing ever. I digress. Never mind. Phil looked at him like, He says he hates Sony's big business practices. The video game industry.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if you guys
Yes.
bring that up.
Well,
there you
talking
go.
about shady business practices, I think that leads into the next subject on the Microbox.
It certainly does. Well, yeah, I mean, I obviously want to be talking about EA on this microtransactions thing. I know it's been picked up a couple of times by a few of you, but obviously the biggest thing that's happened this week, and it's been going on in the news for the last couple of weeks, has been the microtransactions on Star Wars Battlefront 2, and that's been cause for a lot of arguments and disagreements in groups as well, looking at it from different perspectives. I'm not against microtransactions as such, with the way that they were initially introduced, that you had the choice. If you wanted to, you could buy these microtransactions and you could buy equipment and gear that made you look differently, but it didn't get you equipment that you could not unlock by fairly playing it in the game. Now, I'm all up for grinding in games, and I'm all up for playing a game long enough to unlock equipment. We've been doing it on Call of Duty for years. You know, you had your 55 ranks, or I think it was 50 ranks on Modern Warfare, but you worked up through the 50. You prestiged, you opened up something, and then you started again from scratch, and you did it all again to each time open some new equipment. I have got nothing against that, and that is how it should be. That's where you have these games. You don't want to unlock everything straight away, because what's the incentive of playing a game multiplayer if you are not, looking to? You may not. What's the point of prestiging if you're not actually obtaining anything? What's the point of prestiging? So I've got nothing against that. I've got nothing against pulling time into a game. What I am against, though, is buying a game for the same price as somebody else, but because that person is got more money than sense, or is on an absolute fortune, they can buy the equipment straight away that's going to make my online multiplayer gaming experience an absolute nightmare, because they have got an unfair advantage because they've got more money than sense. That is my issue. Now, obviously, they've made changes this week. They dropped it initially down to 70. It was they took 75% off, so you're only paying 25% off, or 25% of what you were initially paying for these loot crates. But now they've completely stopped them altogether. There's still a question of, you know, what's stopping them in a couple of weeks' time putting them all back on again as they were. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. I think whether it was DICE or Electronic Arts, one of them saw an opportunity with a massive Star Wars franchise, and they thought they were going to take the piss. And albeit some gamers went too far, and all the death threats and everything were absolutely ridiculous. They didn't need to do that. All they needed to do was the same as what myself, Andy, Matt, Dell, and all the others did: cancel the pre-order. You know, that's all you had to do. And as soon as you start doing that, money talks. As soon as you start doing that, they'll take notice and they'll make the changes, and they did. And we've all bought it now. But
you got to come.
Hey, Microbox, real quick, because I'm about to get out of here.
Oh, right, yeah, sure.
I want to say thank you all. You know, y'all my brothers, y'all my family, man, and I appreciate every single one of y'all today. I got to get some stuff cleaned up, and I got to do some runs from the wife. Shout out to my wifey, who I love so dear, who puts up with me on my Xbox commitment.
Oh, it's just like
she throws me. Stop it, Chris. She throws me in the dog house, and I find ways out.
a dog house.
Loving me. Stop it, Chris. Stop
She's
it,
cracking
You
that
love that
whip.
sofa. You love that sofa.
I'm working on my credits right now.
Bitch, boy.
Yeah, I love my wife. I love my children.
Be snack.
God bless everybody. And I want to say something real quick before I get out of here. The microtransactions, yeah, I agree with them when they are further experiencing the gameplay of the player, where he gets a chance where in-game credits, if I'm not making myself clear. I'm all for in-game credits, where you work your butt off to get certain credits to get what you want. For that. I agree with Microbox, so I don't have to repeat what he said about the disadvantage on that aspect. So I want to make that clear before I leave. Shout outs to the DX Mansion, Delpoi, my brother. I'm gonna make you proud. I lost the bet, and I'm gonna make you laugh. I got something in store for you.
I'm expecting 60 hours.
You and Andrew, you're gonna crack up too, man. So stay tuned. Everybody, check out these guys, man, on YouTube. These guys are great. These guys are fantastic. They're the reason I'm in here. Baby, I'm coming now. I'm bringing gaming to the streets. So anything is possible when you're messing with legal.
Shout out to Dorian's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mimi, you tell him what to do. Get it. Tell the guy.
And I love you guys, man. Y'all take it easy. Let me get out of here so I don't get thrown in the doghouse. Thank y'all for allowing me to crash the party, and I'll see y'all soon.
Take care, mate.
Dude, take it easy.
See you, buddy.
All right, brother.
Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
And Dorian has left the building. There you go. Great having you on, though, mate. Absolute pleasure. Didn't get the opportunity to say thanks, but I'll message you later. So where were we? Yeah, microtransactions. Sherman, let's start with you for a change. What's your take on this? What's your take on this? Have you got Star Wars Battlefront 2? Will you be getting Star Wars Battlefront 2? Do you intend to get Star Wars Battlefront 2? Did you intend on getting Star Wars Battlefront 2, but the microtransactions put you off? What are you thinking?
Okay, let me try and do that in the order that you just did the rapid fire. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Yes, no.
Moving on.
I'm just kidding. I tried. No, you know, here's the deal with this whole microtransaction thing with Star Wars. Announced it. I was all in just like everybody else. But then when the details, when the specifics came out about it, it just totally ruined the excitement. You know, I was like most people. I'm like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with that. So Now this week, when they made that announcement, really, I kind of looked at it like, oh, okay, well maybe some companies actually listen to base. Maybe all is not lost in that regard. You know, a lot of what Dorian said, I agree. If you got to grind to get credits in game, I have no problem with that. I mean, some titles they go that, but at the end of the day, it's all about a challenge, and when you reach that goal, when you hit that pinnacle of what you're trying to do, really solid feeling of accomplishment. And so when it comes to that area, I'm all for it. But when you got crates that give you unlimited, and Chris, like you said, you got more money than sense, more dollars than cents, and so first day you buy the game, and you can just all these loot crates are right there waiting on you, and if you got the cash, you can splurge on it and then just make your ability invincible. You can just, especially on an online competition, it's just totally unfair. So, in that regard, I can't stand actually despise it. Now, so fast forward to this past week when they made that grand announcement a few days ago. I for one was pleased. Now, from a financial perspective, I was kind of like, oh man, go get the game, because I made peace with it. Like, okay, you know what? This is just going to be one huge cash grab. They're going to charge, the game outright, and then they expect you to spend probably at least that amount that you initially paid or more. No, I want nothing to do with that. And I was at peace with it. So my wallet was happy. A couple of days ago, my wallet got sad again because it was like, oh, now I got to go get it. In that regard, I think it's a good thing. But I will say this in regards to your question about how long are they going to keep it this way. I don't know if you guys saw the report. I read a lot. I mean, I think it's like this for most of us, based on what I can tell. That even though, we also have other lives and we have other interests, and so I tend to do a lot of reading in that covers other categories. One of them happened to be finance, and I was reading the other day in Forbes where, because of EA deciding to get rid of rates, I read that it actually affected, in a negative way, it affected EA's stock price on Wall Street.
On Wall Street, yeah, I read that same article as well.
Yeah, see, so now, so while us as gamers are celebrating, I wonder if, once again, the pencil pushers upstairs at Electronic Arts, they may look at this and go, oh, okay, this took a hit. Our investors aren't happy. We might have to reinstate the whole loot crate thing. The gamers aren't going to like it, but hey, we never promised them that it was going to stay like this forever. I'm just waiting for that shoe to drop. And I think if they go that route, in the long run, it's going to hurt them more than it's going to help them. Yeah, short term, back as far as their stock price will go back up probably. But as far as from a customer standpoint, I just really believe that they're going to fool around, going back to the whole, pay to win strategy. So at this point, we'll just have to wait and see that they're going to stand their ground and not go back to it, because at the end of the day, it's just an unfair system. And not just with Star Wars. I don't even like it when they do that on my cell phone. So, why would I want to be down with that for a console game? Let me just say this, and I'm done. I'm done with this subject. If they decide to keep loot crates, then what they should do, and I truly believe the abilities of making this happen. If they're going to stick with loot crates, then when it comes to online gameplay, have separate categories. If you are a character, if you are a player, and you want to play online with someone, and they can determine if you have utilized a whole bunch of loot crates. So then basically they should partition those gamers to be in a room by themselves. Do not mix folks that utilize loot crates with folks that don't. Have a separate rooms where gamers who want to do it the old-fashioned way, you know what? Guess what? You guys get the game with each other. Have a separate set of rooms where if you got people that crates, you know what? Fine. Then you compete with other folks that do loot crates, but don't mix and match the two. I really believe that they have the capabilities of doing it, and that if they want to keep the loot crate system active, that's what I got to say about it.
Yeah, I think IGN. I think it was IGN. I might be wrong, but I think IGN purchased all the loot crates that you needed to unlock everything, and it cost them $1,600, and that was on top of the price of the game. So
wow,
there you go. That just gives you. I mean, that's a lot of money to be made off one game from one person, isn't it? And this is one of those things that kids love doing. I mean, they've been doing it on FIFA Dream Team for years with EA. EA love this. EA really do love this.
See,
on a free game, I can understand it. The people that make those games and make them free have got to make their money somewhere. But when you're paying £50, £60 or $70, $80 for a game, you expect to have it. I mean, we're from a generation where you didn't even have DLC. I mean, DLC is a new console thing, isn't it? Where you bought a game in the early days and it was finished and it was complete, and then they cottoned on to when the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3 dropped, they cottoned on to we can keep some of this material locked in the game. I mean, they were even still on the disc. They just give you a little download for £10 to unlock that content later on, and they all cottoned on to that as well. Capcom were bastards for that. They were always doing it. In the later Resident Evils, the levels and the missions were actually in the game already on the disc, but you had to pay money to unlock them, and then you had a download that was like 3 or 4 megabytes just to say, oh yeah, you've purchased it and you can unlock it. Free to play games, I don't see an issue, but when you've got games like this and they're making so much money out of them, I've got it doesn't play right for me. I don't like it. If you want to waste money on cosmetic items, then that's your choice. But don't have an unfair advantage with weapons and heroes and all that sort of thing through that system, because it just stinks. And it's left a real sour taste in everybody's mouths. I mean, we're like the release was today. No, it wasn't. It was yesterday. And that's all people have been talking about for the last 2 weeks, and not for the right reasons. They should have been excited by the fact that Star Wars Battlefront 2 was out today, not that the microtransactions are shit and sending death threats to people. And it's been all the wrong press. I mean, Star Wars Battlefront is a huge game. It's a huge game, and it's something that people have really been looking forward to. Battlefront 2, this time with a single-player campaign, and all people have been talking about is microtransactions. And I hope DICE and EA pick up on this. Del, have we heard from you on this one, mate? We haven't, have we?
No, I mean, I obviously, I was touching on the visceral stuff and that, but as soon as I saw the actual gameplay reveal and everything at the EA event when it was going on at E3, wow, I was just blown away. The first one I did not buy, literally just no chance, because there was no content. It was just pointless. I just didn't see the point in it. So I'll admit that I that really hurt me actually, because like I really wanted to play, because I've been waiting years for another one. And I thought, no, I'll leave that. And I waited for it to go into the EA Vault, and I got it from the EA Vault. This one, they showed off the footage. They showed all the stuff that's going to be in it, all the content. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. Then they say, right, we're going to give you all of like the maps, and then like, you know, like basically for free. I was like, wow, this is really, really good. Now, see, now this is the thing. When something sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Yeah.
Now, this is what, like, I was sucked into it. I thought, yes, this looks brilliant. So as soon as it was available for pre-order, I pre-ordered the £74 edition, which is like the ultimate edition one. Which, see, I've had it since Tuesday. Right now, basically, like I cottoned on to like what was going on, and I listened, and I wasn't going to cancel my pre-order. And I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to cancel my pre-order, because like we need to speak up about it. So I canceled my pre-order as well, and then they released a statement saying that, like, you know, they're not going to be having, like, you know, this, like, they're going to change the monetary system, and, you know, you can only earn, like, the guns in game from doing, like, you know, a certain amount of levels, and you can no level. I thought, right, okay, you can just do the normal stuff. So I thought, okay, I'll buy it again. So I bought the Elite Edition again. Had it on Tuesday. And to be honest with you, I feel a bit bad, because like I actually like got the like the Elite Trooper version. I got it on Tuesday. I loaded it up, and immediately I was given 7 loot crates. And in each of those loot crates, it was for every single class. It was for also the spaceships, and it's for the heroes. I unlocked at least 1 epic card for every single like one of those things. And when I say epic cards, I mean like I've got an actual on my heavy class. I've got like on my heavy trooper, I've got this improved shield, but it's an epic one, and it's like at the top of the scale, like, you know, it's a purple card. Like, so basically, my shield in the thingy, I've got an unfair advantage. You know what I mean? I feel bad in that way, because, like, you know, I paid the extra bit because, you know, I wanted to play it early, and like, you know, if I think a product's going to be good, I'll support it, and I'll always buy like the top version, which is why I bought. Even though I wasn't going to buy it, is why I bought Destiny 2. Like, I bought Destiny 1, I bought the full fat version. Destiny 2, I thought, sod it and going all in, I'll buy the full fat version. This time it paid off, because we will get the 4K patch. Woohoo! Anyway, but microtransactions in games, they slowly crept in. COD was the main culprit for doing, like, you know, basically you could have Snoop Dogg doing, like, you know, the announcements, like, and stuff like that, or you can get camos and stuff like that. I think Gears had camos you could buy and stuff like that. Right, cosmetics, not a problem. That's fantastic. I don't care. I even sent a tweet to EA and everybody else, like, that was doing the loot boxes, saying, listen, this pay to win thing, it's got to stop. You say, you want to do loot boxes, fine, but no pay to win. Say, you put cosmetics in those loot boxes, you'll be surprised, because we will buy them. Because, like, I don't know about anybody else, like, I like having, you know, my character stand out, or something I really like to look at, like the character.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Pink Stormtrooper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, Pink Stormtrooper. Well, to be honest with you, I was going to say make it easier for him to hit, but considering other Stormtroopers are going to be shooting at him, they can't hit shit anyway. But the thing is, like, with the microtransactions, no problem with them. If you got the money, spend it. It's your money. It's not my money. Like, that's fine. But no advantages, just cosmetic. Cosmetic, keep it at that. Not a problem with them. And this is the thing. They will make money from it, because people, like, when they invest in a game, and they really like the game, then they will buy the extra stuff for it.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to. They just don't want to feel forced into it, do they?
Yeah, exactly. The shoehorning this thing in. I thought, like, after when he said everything, like, you know, all the maps are going to be free and that, I thought, right, they're going to have to make their money back somewhere. I didn't think they were going to do loot boxes. And yeah, now, like I said, when I opened up all those loot boxes that they gave me, like with the Elite version, and I got like an epic for every single different class and the heroes as well. I didn't feel right, because I do feel like I've got an unfair advantage on some of the things. I mean, it helps that I'm pretty crap at multiplayer, so you know what I mean. It doesn't really affect it that badly. But yeah.
The thing is, I just feel it's a shame, because the game as a whole is incredible. It's
beautiful. It's smooth. It's amazing. Yeah. It's so much fun.
It is a fantastic game, and it has just been marred with this whole microtransaction bollocks, and it's affecting reviewer scores as well. The microtransaction thing, the loot crates, are affecting scores on reviews, and to me, I mean, it's a fantastic game, and it's just been spoilt by greed.
I think Disney stepped in. You know, I reckon Disney stepped in and said, "Do you know what? We're releasing The Last Jedi soon. You stop this right now, because this is causing bad press, and that's going to cause bad press for the film as well. Even though there's hardcore fans that'll go, there'll be other fans that'll be like, well, why are they in the paper for being so bad? Wait a minute, Star Wars is bad," and that's all they'll see. And they won't go to the cinema.
It's been in the BBC.
Yeah,
the BBC
exactly.
reported it, didn't they?
BBC reported it. It's main news over here, like BBC. Yeah. So
and Del made an interesting point actually earlier, and you haven't mentioned it yet. Is the thing in Belgium, Del?
Oh yeah, like me and Andy, like, because Andy, like, we were speaking about this, and Andy's heard it as well from one of his mates. In Belgium, they're actually taking a case to court because they want to see if there is any evidence that links these loot boxes in games that are targeted at, like, kids, because, like, you know, some of the games are 12. And the loot crates where you got to buy them with gambling, because over in Belgium, they've got very strict gambling laws. And if this case passes and it proves true, then it's going to completely shake up the industry. It literally will. Because
at the end of the day, if you are paying money for something that you're getting randomly generated items, you're gambling. It's a gamble.
Yeah, it's gambling. Yeah, it's gambling.
Exactly.
There's no getting around it. It's a gamble. And the case in Belgium, yeah, it's one of them. It's, I think, I think Andy mentioned it was to do with Overwatch. I think it is Overwatch that they're looking into over there.
It's a lot alongside it.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, Overwatch again is a great game. People are loving it. It doesn't need all this shit publicity for loot crates. It doesn't need them.
But the loot crates are purely cosmetic.
Yeah, it's just cosmetic.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
But it's one of them. It's the thing that, like, I mean, I've got like a nephew. He's 8. He's turning 9 this year. He is like addicted to FIFA, and like my sister, like, I keep telling her to stop paying all the money she does for the effing
team,
like those, like, yeah, the Dream Team.
Yeah,
because she spends so much money on those coins, like the FUT, like for the FIFA Ultimate Team, all the money on the coins. Like, just so, like, these kids are going for these coins, and FIFA's rated, like, you know, 3. Isn't it, or 7 or something like that? It's a very low rated game. It's aimed at everybody.
Yeah,
so kids play it. A lot of kids play it, and a lot of kids play that, like, Ultimate Team.
It's basically a digital version of the old Panini sticker books that we used to collect when we were kids. The only difference
the Paninis.
Yeah, the only difference is you can't swap with other kids for the stickers you've already got. You know,
it's infuriating. That's what it is. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, like I've just already said, if I like a game, I think it's worth it, and I really do want it, I will actually spend the extra money, like, to invest in the game if it's got, like, added extra bits, not pay to win, just extra bits to it,
Yeah,
like, so
yeah.
that I get the full
I mean,
version of it.
I mean, I don't know what you guys are like. I mean, but I mean, obviously, I've got. I did used to have young children. They've grown up now, but I was always of the line, as all of my kids were gamers. They all lived their gaming, and I wouldn't mind spending the money for them on DLCs when I saw that it was adding longevity to a game. But I refused to buy them DLCs where it was just for costumes and things like that. And you know, there was no way. I mean, I'm quite fortunate that none of my kids were into football, because there's no way in hell I would have bought them any of those Dream Team packs.
Yeah.
None at all. You know, you spend a fortune. I mean, to me, I mean, the FIFA games, I think, are a waste of money anyway. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
They really are. I mean, those games alone probably have the biggest appreciation in gaming value. You can buy the new FIFA 2018 for like 50 quid, and 12 months later, go into CX and pick up the same game for probably 3 quid, because the next one's come out. And those bloody Dream Teams packs that you buy don't even transfer into the new game. You have to start from scratch. EA have really got to get their act together with them, because they're
the thing is, though, with FIFA, there hasn't been any near the amount of backlash with those cards as Star Wars.
No, exactly. No, exactly.
And that's something that people should be addressing as well. I mean, just because it's Star Wars.
Why is it acceptable?
FIFA is seen as, like, you got to think about it in this sense. FIFA is seen as a family sport. It's a game. It's a football game. It's football. Our culture, like, you know, whether we like to admit it or not, you know, basically the English culture is built around football. Like, we look, football's like something that is like for kids, like for, you know, for adults, and everybody's either got a team or, like, you know, there is people out there that don't like it, but we invented it. It's something it's a national pride, even though we suck at it at a national level, which is the irony of it. But yeah, basically it's built on that. So I think that's why it gets a free pass, because people think, oh, it's FIFA, it's football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get away with that. It's like it would be like the Queen not paying tax and putting her money in an offshore account.
What, really? She'd do that? Oh, Queenie.
Oh dear. Before I ask for Andy's thoughts on this, quick shout out to Flip Money. He's in the chat, mate. Thanks for checking in on the podcast. And Exile Prime as well. Thanks for checking in and checking out the podcast and giving us your support, guys. We really do appreciate it. Andy, over to you, mate. What are you thinking about all this microtransaction stuff?
I mean, at first, I thought, well, it's only random. There's no chance, you know, the chance of getting like a specific card, you know, what's the odds? But then after, like, listening to somebody read the document about what the game is about, I thought, do you know what? That doesn't sound right at all. And that's when I cancelled my order.
Yeah.
And then they changed it. But after a while, and then Steve bought it. I thought, do you know what?
Don't blame me.
No, I thought, if Steve's got it, I want to play multiplayer with Steve, because we had a laugh when we were playing
Battlefield. Yeah.
Battlefield, and even what was the other game we were playing the other week?
Killing Floor. Wait a minute, we played Killing Floor Battlefield, and I can't. Wait a minute, was it? I can't remember. Got so many games. There's too many games.
Paladins.
Oh yeah, Paladins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Paladins.
Yeah,
you know, we had a good laugh, right? And then, like they changed it when they changed the system, right? It was like, yeah, it's still pay to win, but it's, you know, they've taken out the milestones and all that stuff, and now it's got to the point where they've taken it out completely, for God knows how long. But, you know, by the time, yeah, by the time they could creep back in, there's a good chance that the majority of the player base have moved on to the next big multiplayer game, and, you know, and like PUBG, I bet everyone goes, you know what, done Star Wars, let's do PUBG. You know, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, come December, that's what everybody's going to be playing anyway. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, but you know, they're changing it, so that's sort of good. But I'm crossing my fingers it stays. If they bring it back in and it's just cosmetic, I'm totally fine with that. Crossing my fingers, crossing my toes.
I don't think they could afford to bring it back in now.
No. Well,
it's been too much shit.
Well, I read that, I think it was on Forbes, there was a post on Twitter about the investors, looked at the sales and probably the pre-order returns or whatnot and thought, this isn't making us look good or making us money. So you got to do something about this, and they have. But, we just got to remain optimistic with the future of the game.
Talking about cosmetics, I really want a pink Wookiee now.
Pink Wookiee.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't say it looks like me.
As this is a family show, I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Good.
Just imagine a pink Wookiee. It's funny that it is funny. I'm sorry.
So someone's got Photoshop.
It was called Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. But I played the trial on the new console, and comparing it to it on the S, it was a huge leap up. Yeah. Single player. I've taken a few screenshots, and it's just amazing.
One thing I have noticed, though, guys, and I did want to mention to this. I mean, have all of you played Star Wars Battlefront?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played it, Sherman?
Nope.
No, Sherman hasn't. What, not even on the trial? What about HeBot? Have you tried it, HeBot?
I beat the campaign.
Yeah, he's beat the campaign, mate.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So,
the new one, right?
Yes, the new one. Now, what I want to ask you guys is, this is something that I've noticed, and I noticed this on the beta as well. All of the video sequences, not the in-game, but like the videos at the start, and and all those. Are you finding them pixelated?
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that about the black pixelation. I've seen a little tiny bit, like a little bit of it, on some of the actual like armor, especially like the lady that you play in it, like the special forces like lady. Like I noticed on her black armor.
It seems to be like a really dark area. The dark areas.
I reckon that's something to do with the HDR, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what I'm thinking as well, and I'm trying to set up the HDR, but I'm still finding it really pixelated, and the more you fiddle with it, the worse it gets. HeBot, have you noticed this?
Sorry.
HDR is overdone, number one, and in order for the HDR,
hang on, mate, you're breaking up a bit, HeBot.
God damn it! I fucking hello.
There you go.
And it's a family show, HeBot.
God damn it!
I hate when that happens. That's why. The thing is that the HDR, in order for it to work right, complement the 4K, it has to have a 4K image. The videos are compressed in 1080p. So when you look at it on a 1080p screen, they look fabulous. They look amazing. They have a good coloration and everything. But when you put it on the TV, you're absolutely right. It looks off. Either they look too or they look too pixelated, but it's because they're not in 4K. And I'm assuming it's because that's what's made them save the gigs, the size of the gigs. The game already has tremendous 4K assets. I mean, it's running ultra high settings on a PC. But the difference being it has a dynamic resolution as opposed to a constant resolution in native. Yeah. And they did that to keep, obviously, the fact that,
I didn't think about
gotta keep the frames per second. So they are in 1080p. On a 1080p screen, they look amazing. They look fantastic. But on the Xbox 4K TV with HDR, they kind of look like they don't even play the game. They kind of look cheap. Right? Color coloration too is wrong. And the more you fiddle with it, it's the worse it looks. You're right. It's like, wow, I'm trying all I can here, and it's not working. So no, you're not wrong.
They need to do something with it, because I mean, the game looks amazing, and then you get to the video sequences you expect to be just as amazing and just as clear, and they look bloody awful. The darker the image, the worse it looks.
Yeah, I mean, we're just lucky it's the video like parts of it though. That's one saving grace, I suppose.
Put it like this: when you play it on the screen, the image is so well on the actual cutscenes that they don't look like cutscenes. They look like in-game assets. That's how well done.
Yeah.
When you play it in 1080p, that's how much difference there is between the 4K. But what they should do is for the people to have the options to have 4K, and you're already playing the campaign for the multiplayer at the highest fidelity, give us the option that we can download the assets for the CG or cutscenes rather in 4K as well, so that the HDR and the 4K works, better, and it looks more complements the experience better, because they're almost off. Because when you look at the cutscenes in 4K, they look like a little bit horrid. Then it jumps into the game and it looks fantastic. It looks amazing. You're like, damn, it kind of seamless.
I've actually got like an interesting tidbit about that. How you just explained it. I don't know whether everybody else picked up on it, but for Shadow War, I waited for that game for the X to come out because I wanted to see it like in its full splendor. There is actually a 4K cinematics like DLC that you can download for it for all the cutscenes. 21 gigabytes, but it's worth it. It looks beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
They look amazing, right, Andy?
Yeah. Yeah, Andy, did you download that as well, Andy?
I did, courtesy of you, mate.
Yeah. It's awesome. It makes it look beautiful.
I've not really noticed the cutscenes in Star Wars, though.
The ones for Assassin's Creed Origin?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed, I mean, just wow. That game's amazing. It's just, it looks so beautiful. And there's so much stuff in it.
You know what? I've got a question regarding, and I know we're jumping a little bit, but Assassin's Creed, the footage that I've seen is just, like you said, it's just unbelievably outstanding.
Yeah, it's true.
So it seemed like I heard a rumor that they actually, for the end product, that they actually decided, they figured out a way to make it native 4K. Is that true?
It's dynamic, but the thing is, the Digital Foundry had a look into the actual resolutions to the pixel count, and they said that it's like negligible. The actual amount that it drops by in some scenes, it says it's so negligible that basically it doesn't even count really, because it's so high, the actual count. It's not noticeable. That's why it looks. It's not full native. It doesn't keep it full native. It's a dynamic scale, but because of how good it runs, it actually they do class it as it's being 4K, and like you can't tell any difference in any, like, there's loads of people on the screen or you're transitioning different areas and stuff like that. The game itself is a masterpiece. It looks beautiful. It plays brilliantly. The combat's changed up. The combat's brilliant in it now. And obviously the RPG elements where you get like different gear and stuff. But yeah, it's not native, but it's got like a dynamic scale that like basically it's that close to native that they count it as native. It's just a strange way.
Yeah, I mean, what I saw.
Sorry.
The pixel count go up to that resolution. Pixel count go up to that 2160. But they don't stay there because they did it for the performance, obviously.
They want to keep the steady frames.
Like, the count is extremely high because they all cover it up with, or make up for it with, the processing, the anti-aliasing, the texture filtering, all of that cleans it up in a way that almost looks like it's always at a high 4K resolution, because there's like no jack in the game.
Yeah. Digital Foundry just said they couldn't really tell That's the thing. Digital Foundry said you can't even tell. It's like you said, it's that like it performs that well, even though we did count the actual drops. He said it just runs too good and it just looks it. So yeah.
Well, I thought I'd ask that because the footage since the Scorpio's been released, and of course since the game's been released, the gameplay footage that I've seen, the 4K gameplay footage of it, honestly, to me, it looks better than the footage that was shown at E3. I mean, it's just heads and tails superior to anything. That's got to be one of the best looking games, 4K games that's out right now. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
It is. I mean,
It's there too with that. I mean, but it's different games.
I think it like, and I mean, I bought like the only Assassin's Creed I've ever bought is 1, 2, and 3. I didn't buy any of the other ones. I didn't buy any new ones because it just started getting it's just too much the same. But this was the first one that thought, wow, this looks different. Like, and they've done something different. And I will go on record as saying that I think this is the best Assassin's Creed they've ever made. Not just because of the graphics, but just because of the overall feel of the game and the way it plays. It feels a lot different, especially with the combat and the RPG elements. I've got to admit, it just blew me away. It's one of them. I know we've had Game of the Year like already, like it's been out and it's been called and everything. But if this would have released earlier this year, it would have been up there definitely. And Shadow War as well. It's exactly this, like the same. Shadow War is just amazing.
What I like about Assassin's Creed now is that since EGX show, I actually know the controls. and there's a shield. There's a shield button. Woohoo!
The thing is, you lot are all gets, and I can't get Assassin's Creed Origins now till after Christmas. So I've got to wait to play that one. I've got to add all of the Assassin's Creeds. From the first one all the way through, even Unity. I still love that game, even though it got slated.
The first one was, I've got to admit, the toss-up was between the first one, and this one wins, to be honest. Like, the first one was amazing. It was just something completely different, right out of left field, and it felt great when you were fighting. It was just unreal. But
sure.
This one is just, you'll love it.
I honestly, I can't wait to play it and roll on after Christmas, and then I can get it, because it's there were so many games come out this year, and it was just I haven't got Shadow of War either. I need to get that one. But
it's
need it.
Get it on CD keys, right? Get the standard edition.
Yeah,
it's less than £30.
Is it? What, already?
Yeah, I've just looked. Yeah.
Friday. It's going to be $30 on the. I mean, Microsoft Store.
Shadow Black Friday sales.
Yeah. The Friday sales already started. Matter of fact, $30 digitally, and so Wolfenstein 2.
See, look, Wolfenstein 2 is another one I want to get as well. But
it's 25 quid.
Top of my list at the moment is my next one to buy is Assassin's Creed. So just have to wait till Christmas.
It won't do you wrong, honestly. It's just it is just a work of art, that thing. Really.
So
cool, Microbots. If you don't mind it physically, it's going to be, I believe, 35 in Best Buy or Walmart. I don't know if you have that on your.
No, we don't have them over here.
Like Amazon over here, like, so Amazon game probably. That's about 35 over there. Probably what we're looking about, maybe 30 quid.
Yeah.
Maybe 28.
Okay.
All good. Anyway, we finished on that then, because I think we're going to have to start looking at winding up in a minute.
Considering we talk a long time.
We always do.
Past 8.
Yeah, we always do, though. But to be honest with you, when you get a bunch of gamers like us all in a room together or on a hangout, that's it. The time flies by, doesn't it? What I did want to do, though, I mean, I just wanted to quickly ask you guys what you've been playing this week. Sherman, what you've been playing this week?
I have been playing really nothing.
It's a good start.
And
then.
trust me, it's not because it's oh man, I've really been, honestly guys, I all this entire show I've been dreading that question. Actually, that was my second most dreaded question. The first question, which actually, to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't start the show off with this question, as far as what we think of the Scorpio, what we think of the X.
That is exactly why I didn't ask that question.
Okay. Oh, because you knew that I hadn't had time to even do anything.
Yeah, I knew you hadn't done it.
No. Hang on. Oh, you know what? I appreciate that. You guys are truly a caring bunch. But in this case, no, you are mistaken, sir.
Oh.
My lovely wife. She the official day of its release, she actually said, "Okay, you still want that Scorpio, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." So she goes, "Okay, pick out what store you want to get it from, and we'll get it today." I'm like, "Oh, I love you," and yeah, I got it. I in fact wound up getting the very last one at my closest GameStop store. And so I'm all eager to get it and hook it up. And then things got so busy and crazy. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And then, of course, I wanted to hook up my Connect to it, but GameStop didn't have the Connect adapter. Right. So I had to go all the way. I had to drive a half hour to the nearest Microsoft store. Got the last one of those. That was the next day. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to hook it up tonight. Well, then some others. So fast forward a week and a half later. And I'll put it like this. Last night was my first chance that I actually started transferring my games to my external drive and backing up all my data to the external drive and all that. And then I started doing the 4K downloads, and oh my goodness, some of those are humongous. So long story short, and I know it's too late for that, but I haven't gotten a chance to play it. I haven't gotten a chance to play it, and I'm so ashamed.
At the end of the day,
but I can't wait. I can't. You know what? I can't wait though. I'm really like, I've been salivating because I've been on YouTube and I've checked out all the different images, and I'm just like, you know what? I can't wait. You know, and some of you guys made comments within the group a couple of days ago. You know, Trisha put up those screenshots that she took of Rise running on that thing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, and Rise doesn't even have a patch.
Yeah, there's no a patch.
That's what's blowing my mind. It doesn't even have a 4K patch, and Rise looks awesome. I mean, it already looked good.
That's the
but
same.
Now, just running off the hardware. So I'm at the point now. I had actually said to myself, okay, I'm going to fire up this new game and this new game. But now I'm starting to think, wow, maybe I should check out some of the old stuff first.
Yeah.
The Witcher 3 looks incredible.
So that's the answer to your question. That's the answer to your question. I haven't had a chance, but I'm on a mission before the weekend is out. That's my goal. So trust me, I'll keep you.
Well, if you're on tomorrow, mate, check me out.
You guys are gonna know. Trust me.
If you get on tomorrow, let me know.
Yes, sir. That's my homework assignment.
HeBot, what have you been playing, mate? I know you play loads of diversity of games. So what have you been playing?
Well, I beat Battlefield 2. I couldn't stop playing it, especially. I want more. It's basically, talking about how, with the whole Microsoft. Yeah, I had the option to go buy it earlier. That's what I couldn't wait. I wanted to play it, and we did. A little bit on the short side, but I think we knew they were going to bring more of the story in the campaign with the added DLCs, which they already said will be free for free, which is also a big made me not hesitate even more to go buy it earlier. Unfortunately, for the multiplayer aspect, that's a whole different story about it.
Yeah.
I'm about Super Lucky Tales. Really awesome little starting game. It harkens back to platformers in the 3D environment with 2D elements and a lot of other little gameplay elements from games like Temple Run. Really implemented, very subtle, but it looks beautiful in the 4K format. Because if you play it on the S, it's basically 1080p. Still looks amazing. You can see the difference, the textures popping out. Because and the frames per second, amazing pop. Tomb Raider looks phenomenal. Games, whether you played on ultra high screens with 30 frame pop, or when you played in 4K with high settings, it looks incredible. Final Fantasy looks really good comparative to where it was before. That it's some weird of like 798p or 8p. Now it goes up all the way up to like 1800 in some areas, depending on the circumstances. 21 has also an unlocked frame rate mode, which is not still works. I also tried out like when you put the textures on that ultra 4K and 30. Christ, it looks retarded. It has so much detail. I got the sharpness on my TV. It almost felt like we're gonna cut my eyes out. Obviously, it's me exaggerating a little bit, but I go with the sharpness a bit because it was just too. And then you played in the 4K mode, because although well, not ultra, but you have high setting, it doesn't look that much different than the 4K. The 60 frames gives it a better, I guess, edge, if you will, for me, in my opinion, because it just looks so much more fluid. Assassin's Creed, my son was playing it. Jesus Christ, that game has so much. Any little thing, the water, the desert, how it with the wind, even off the clothing, the way the clothes move, the models, the mocapping, the ADR is phenomenal. Battles in the pyramid, amazing. The casting reflections, and now no jaggies anywhere. This looks incredible. It looks really nice. So I can everybody's really, really touting the game. Really a showpiece. I haven't seen Shadow of War. If you pick it up on Friday because it's $30. I have Wolfenstein, but as well, I haven't played. I heard it looks phenomenal as well, which I hope was part of my back catalog. I also seen Forza. Oh my God, Forza 7 is sight to behold for the console. Like, if you want to show it, it covers everything from textures to everything. That's the game to try out. The Recore one, it only goes to 1440. They didn't have the textures that they had originally had, which that game runs on PC. So I kind of tweeted them out and asked them if they would see that game in 60 frames. And I also seen Injustice. Looks phenomenal as well. Pretty much every game, I can sit here and just give you all the games. Any game you put in, even the upgrade enhancements with mirrors and Gears of War 3 looks incredible. So what you basically feel now is you want to go back, Quantum Break, substantially cleaner, substantially high res, even so more than the PC. You already showed comparative, screenshots, and better performance as far as the stability and the loading. So I mean, every game so far, adjustment or improvement I've seen, and that's what makes it so special compared to like a Pro, that you really didn't see it, even though they gave you options to pick certain things. They just weren't substantial enough and different enough for the naked eye to see and notice the difference between the vanilla and the Pro. With the X, just even putting it in without no update, like Witcher, you can see it running in 60 frames, even though it's unlocked and it moves up and down. But you can see it. It's like, holy crap. That's an open world game with massive amounts of detail and dialogue and information that you would think would kind of be stressful to the hardware, no matter how powerful it is. It's really working well. So, yeah, I'm pretty much, all those things. I've beaten those. I'm trying to, which I got into that, and then I'm going to try to beat Recore because I also got into that. So sorry for making it long-winded. I wanted to my personal experience with some of the games so far.
It does. It's hard to explain it, and even when people watch the videos on YouTube, they're not getting the full idea of what this console can do, really. And as I said earlier, Witcher 3 looks amazing. I haven't put in Rose yet, but every game I've put in just pops. It's incredible what the system's doing.
You're absolutely right. It's something that they have to understand it until they see it.
Yeah.
It's just not do. You can't prove it.
To truly understand what that system's capable of doing, you need to see one in the flesh. You need to go in store and see one running, because it's incredible. Unless you've got a 4K TV and you're able to watch 4K YouTube videos, then you'll see the difference. Cheers, HeBot. Del, what have you been playing this week, mate? Del, are you there? He's gone to sleep.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I muted my mic. See, it's your bloody rules that are causing that problem. I'll be honest, I've been really just glued to Shadow War. I can't get off that game. It's just too good. Brilliant game.
Have you avenged me yet?
No, not avenge you, but you're not showing up. Random people have showed up that asking me to avenge him. I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know you anything. So, but yeah, I mean that game's brilliant. Like the actual the orcs have all got their own personalities, and they all remember you. Like, I mean, I know they did it in the first, but it seems like they've really refined it for the second one. It's just it's something to behold. Like I say, I've already got an orc stalker who is called Babal the Obsessed, and he will not kill me. He will get me down on my knees and basically bleeding out, and he'll just humiliate me and wander off with his crew of orcs. I hate him. I'm going to kill him. It's going to take time. It's really annoying me. He keeps doing it to me all the time. Anyway, apart from that, obviously, because the X came out, I wanted to see what the games were were doing. Put Assassin's Creed. Oh wow, just fell in love with it. It's just a beautiful looking game. So really enjoyed that. Elix again. Love Elix. I'm sorry, but if nobody's played the RPG that is Elix, you're missing out. Fantastic game. had a bit of a go at Killing Floor as well with Sean the other day, and also
And Killing Floor get a patch on Delpoi.
I played it with it. It looks good. It's up to 1800p now, but and also I said I wasn't going to get it, but I ended up getting shafted on me. Xbox One Scorpio Edition game, lost it, so they kept giving me like £10 worth of vouchers, so I kept putting credit onto my account, and I ended up buying World War II COD, and I played Zombies the other night with Sean. I don't know if Sean listens. I think he does. But yeah, we were playing Zombies, and Zombies on the new Call of Duty is amazing, but it's got like some of the guys that worked on the original Dead Space from Visceral that have actually helped make that, so you can understand that the zombies look impressive. It's really good, but the multiplayer, I'm not really feeling it, unfortunately. I'm probably going to go for the campaign though, because it's a big piece of history, and I like anything to do with that side of things, like the films and everything like that, and obviously my granddad was involved in that as well, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see it from that side of things. If it's got a Band of Brothers feel to it, then yeah, it'll definitely sell me. But other than that, I've just been playing a mixture of things, but yeah, definitely my number one game at the moment, Shadow War. Just can't put it down. I really can't.
Rub it in, why don't you?
No, you love it. It's so much fun. Really, it's so much fun.
How about you, Andy MacArthur? What have you been playing?
Andy MacArthur. Unmute your mic.
He's deliberately just ignoring me. Like, MacArthur.
Sorry, I was just jumping on the bandwagon.
See, you insult him, yeah? He insults me.
I've been playing Shadow of War as well. It's this new console's just getting me lost in like the beauty of some of these games. I've had a look at some of the other games that have been enhanced as well, and let's go back to like last year, or when the reveal of the specs came out, and the narrative was power, and then as soon as we dropped specs, it became about the games, and now it is about the games, and we're enjoying the games better with the better quality visuals now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is about the games, and we're winning on that side as well. So
even Destiny 2, the holy grail of all, all that Sony hold dear.
Exactly.
Oh, dearie me. They get adaptive 4K, which means basically checkerboard. We get 4K. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So next time you get someone talking about games, because they never mention particular type of games, they just say the word games.
Exclusive. But
Well, they don't even say that, do they? They just say games. They don't really mention about
exclusives. Actually, now you point out, they say it's got no games. It's like, that's funny. My library's pretty full.
Exactly.
Playing all the time.
You saw what I posted in the mansion and Project Xbox. The library, or parts of my library that I downloaded, they're the games I'm playing on Xbox.
I saw that.
You cannot take that away from me. Boom.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I did see that. Very well put.
Yeah, well, that's the point. At the end of the day, they keep saying there's no games narrative, no games. It's like, I don't know where you're from, because at the end of the day, the consoles got all these games, and if it wasn't for the third-party market, there wouldn't be as many games on either console. That's a fact. That is a stone cold fact. Because
the market can't rely on just exclusives, because exclusives sell by the 10% of install base.
Well, Yeah, I mean, in some degrees, it's so like a bit more, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. But the point is, like, when you've only got maybe like 6 like major exclusives like each year, you're not going to buy a console just for 6 games. That'd be that's just daft. So of course, third party like counts. And now they count even more. All those pixels.
It's crap.
And
isn't it?
textures.
At the end of the day, I've got more games than I've got time to play, so I don't know what I
same,
need
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So, what I've been playing.
Amen, Chris. That's
Yes.
exactly right. Amen to that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got more games than I've got time to play, so why do I want more just sitting on the shelf collecting dust? Well, actually, they don't.
Man, you know what?
They're going on the hard drive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got a 5 terabyte external drive, and in fact, last night when I was doing the updates, I mean, I kind of lost count. I quit counting how many games I got. I mean, and last night it said I had like 299, and I mean, realistically, if I played, I don't think I've even touched a third of those games. I mean, it's just you're going to get to them eventually.
Yeah.
But it's just like, look, we're all roughly in the same age range. We all got lives, and so it's not like we've got 24 hours a day. Most of us are lucky if we can set aside 6 hours a day to play, or in some cases, I'm talking about myself here, 6 hours a week. So the whole point of like this notion of post, oh yeah, Xbox has no games, oh Xbox has no exclusives, blah blah blah. I mean, you know what it reminds me of, and then I'm gonna shut up. It's like it reminds me of like Android smartphones has 15 million apps. Oh, but the iPhone only has 8 million. Android is better. I mean,
yeah,
we're talking millions. If you've got that much time on your hands to go through 15 million apps,
there's a problem.
Then
yeah.
Well, problem.
You're homeless with a phone, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got nothing else to do.
It's the same thing with these games. I mean, okay, so what if Sony claims they got more, which I doubt, to be truthful. To be totally honest, I don't think the difference is that much at all.
Well,
but let's just say it's true.
It's coming across to us, which is Soma, which is out in I think next week or something like that. So it's not like they're all staying there. All the games cross over. So.
A lot of them have no release dates. That's the truth.
A
lot of false.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's just my point. It's like if you want to run that, if somebody wants to run that game narrative, I suggest, kind of like how everybody, and real quick, congrats on your success, Chris, of trolling Pactor. I mean, I thought it was just sight to behold. It was beautiful. So much so that he mentioned you by name. That was impressive. I mean, it really was. He knew. I think, but secretly, I believe that he listens to this podcast. I believe that he might be a secret member of Project Xbox. He probably has a different name registered or whatever. I think that secretly he's a fan of what we're doing, because it seemed as if he was anticipating all of us doing what happened the day last week when the Scorpio was released. I just get that feeling. So when it comes to stuff like that, it really was. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I'm sure that at his job at Forbes, he was probably like, "Hey, I'm famous. Look, guys, look." He was probably showing off to his coworkers.
I never trended before. Oh, go ahead.
I think he did say that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, very, very
I mean,
funny.
So yeah, at the end of the day, if different people, whether it's Pactor or whoever, if they want to move the goalpost and go along with that whole narrative, oh yeah, Xbox got no games, I suggest, just like we all banded together and messed with Pactor, we should mess with whoever runs up that narrative about games and do what Andrew did this past week. Like, send a screenshot. Really? No games? Take a look at this. What is this? I mean, I that's just my suggestion.
It was funny just seeing him bite. It really was, and to get a reaction out of him all every single time as well was just priceless. But anyway, I don't know. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say it's the whole. They have more games in the sense that they have handouts from all types of developers, especially Japanese, that fill up their void for the rest of the whole year. Their actual exclusive titles that they produce don't have that viable market. Because NAC 2 doesn't hold a candle next to something like Forza. You see what I'm saying? So, okay, they have games, but it's because they have those Japanese developed games or from these other little independent studios that are trying to get a name in the industry. Because they're starting out, so they're like, oh yeah, well, let me put it up for a higher install base. Look how that turned out. With something like, No Man's Skies and, something like the older 1886 Drive Club, which they closed, and things like, you call it Last Guardian that also came and went, and also, just to name a few, just as an example. It's not how many games you have, the quality of the games you have. And the quality of the games they have are only in areas, you see? And that's what people tend to forget. You got to learn. You know what I mean?
Well, what we got to remember is we have a wide range of diverse games. They can't take that away from us.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's well said. Since I'm speaking and being the show, the show right now. Try out the insect demo on the X.
No, I haven't used it yet. No.
Okay, you go to the game apps or the game section, I think, release it, and download it. That's a very wonderful technical demo that can actually set
what downloaded that.
X can do as far as graphics, VR, okay, even the utmost. You do it in real time. You can change the color. They cycle. It looks amazing. I'm like, that's the type of tech they need to have in the store next to a game like Forza. Really showcase the X and what it can do and what it, the future, as far as the future and what are the differences from a standard Xbox X and a standard PlayStation 4. And let's be honest, a PS4 Pro as well. It's awesome and it's free. Think about a minute long.
It is a good little program. I downloaded that myself. It's about 1.9 gigabytes if I remember rightly, but it really does show off what the system can do, and it show you what your TV's doing as well. I mean, if you think your TV's working properly with HDR and you just want to double check it, you can see that by using this.
Use it as a calibration, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's really good for that. Anyway, guys, we're gonna have to call it a night. We've been going for 2.5 hours. We have been
3 hours.
3 hours for goodness sake, and I'd like to put a maximum of 2 hours on it. People are gonna be crawling in the.
I think it's actually longer than that.
It starts
about 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours, and it's 12:30. Well, it's 25 to 12 over here now.
I know. I'm getting daggers from the missus behind me, and she's like, "Why can't I get into bed?"
I wanted to watch a film as well, man.
I know, I've gone right out the window. I wanted to watch The Punisher.
Anybody watching like thingy who's like into the Marvel shows? I binge watched The Punisher yesterday from 10 o'clock in the morning till 11 p.m. last night. The best show ever. I love Frank. He's awesome. It is just a really good show. So
He's a family member, isn't he?
Uncle Frank, yeah.
Uncle
That's
Frank.
why I've got his tattoo on me, yeah.
And whilst we're talking about comic book adaptations as well, don't listen to reviews, don't read reviews, go and watch Justice League because it's awesome. And don't listen to anybody. Any reviewer who turns around and says a comic book movie story is improbable, needs kicking in the bollocks, and just go and check the movie.
It's a comic book. How could a comic book be improbable? It does the improbable. That's the whole point.
I know, I'll just give up. Anyway, on that note, Sherman, do you want to say your goodbyes, mate? No, he obviously wants to stay. Sherman, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
There you go. Do you want to say your goodbyes, mate?
Yeah. Once again, it's been, as always, it's been a blast. Real quick, as part of this week's wrap up, I believe, and Chris, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe this week Project Xbox crossed the 1,000 member threshold.
It did, yes. I think we're about 1,020 now.
Yeah. So just want to say to our newest and our recent members, welcome aboard. We appreciate you being part of the group. We believe in having a good time and not taking ourselves too seriously, and we don't take no mess. So
we don't.
Those of you, if you got any questions on what that means, feel free to hit any one of us here. Hit us up at the site, and we'll explain it to you. I as always, had a great time today. Really hate that I missed the last broadcast, but I had other obligations, and those obligations started off a little bit shaky, but then they wound up being okay. So I'll tell you guys about that at another time. It was a trip. So yeah, just I promise I'm gonna do my gosh darndest best to for the next show. I will have fired up Scorpio and giving you guys my take on all that 4K goodness. I'm just, man, I'm telling you, I'm salivating. I'm chewing at the bit because I want to experience it for myself, because I mean, just the reviews and just stuff that I've been hearing about it, and some of my friends that have it, and that includes you guys, because I consider you guys friends. So even more than that, we're family. So once again, shout out to Project Xbox, everybody there. Shout out to the mansion. Shout out to Roscoe's Video and the group of guys over there. And thanks, as always, Chris, for doing what you do and intimidating us into behaving properly. And looking forward to the next show.
I try and keep you all in line. It's not easy. Jeez. So, mate, do you want to say? Go on, Sherman. Go on.
Andrew, I think that comment was aimed at you specifically.
Don't drag me into it, mate.
Sherman,
puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again. Right. Anyway, yeah, it's been real late at the end of the day. 3 hours and a bit. I'll be honest, I'm completely shattered, but I really enjoyed our chats because it's just real talk at the end of the day. Big shout out to the DX Mansion and also Project Xbox for holding it down. We ain't no fakers, we the takers. And Yeah, I think I'm going to pass out. Thank you, everybody.
We've worn him out, guys. How the hell have we managed to wear Delpoi out? Who thought we'd see the day?
I'm sorry, mate. Oh, I was already tired.
HeBot, do you want to say your goodbyes, mate? No, he's not there either. Are you there, HeBot? There you go.
Because I'm back for fun, but you know, every good thing has to come to an end. Yeah, it's been great. Once again, very pleased and honored to be part of this movement and this family in the MicroPod podcast, obviously. So thanks again for, entrusting in me to be part of your, vision, and that I won't take away fans or existing ones. But, I think we had great talk. I think it's just going to be better, and we're going to have a lot more conversation and better forward to coming to holiday, the next few episodes. Because, we'll have things like PUBG and more. We'll have more time with vacation time to actually sit down and enjoy more X, if you will. So, again, you can check it out. Check me out on the channel, Twitter, or even wow, I lost my train of thought. Twitter, at the Insomnatech.com. I'm about 100 in there. Obviously, the DX Mansion, new legal felon, aka Delpoi, and of course, my founding Europe here with Project. They have done a magnificent feat in having members in a Facebook without nobody trying to kill themselves. It's a lot of charisma, a lot of determination, and you, MicroBots, for having established a place of respect, if you will. Neat. Thanks again, guys. Have a good night. Hope you enjoyed the show. Next one. Looking forward to it.
Oh, cheers, HeBot. It's a pleasure having you on as always, mate. Andy Mac, mate, just down to you now.
Well, I think all the shout outs have been thoroughly said tonight. So
thoroughly shouted out.
Yeah, so I'm not going to. But yeah, thanks for everyone stopping by, especially everyone in the chat. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as Andy Mac, like the picture suggests. same picture and everything. And in the Project Xbox and the Mansion. So yeah, good night, everybody.
There you go, look. And yeah, lastly from me then. So thanks to you guys for taking part as always. It's a real pleasure doing it with you guys. It always has been, really. And the idea of this was to be a community podcast, and that's what we are. You're all members of the community, and you all work as hard on here as you do in all the groups and everything. So there you go. So big shout out to you guys for being on it. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We always appreciate having the chat in the chat, funny enough, as you do. You do have a chat in the chat, don't you? And, everybody, as Sherman mentioned, we hit 1,000 members in Project Xbox this week. I never thought I'd see 1,000 people in that group when I started it. When somebody suggested I started a group to do in my channel, I thought you're having a laugh, and I thought it'd be running for a couple of weeks and I'd close it. But there you go, nearly 3 years on, and well, it is 3 years on, isn't it, Delpoi? Is it 3 years now that group's been running? I think it is. Yeah, we're still going. It's going strong, and the DX Mansion obviously as well. We've got a real good strong tie with the DX Mansion, so great stuff. That's it. Thanks for watching. If you stayed through the whole thing live, I really do appreciate it. If you're watching it pre-recorded, don't forget to check out the Welsh Gamer's toilet review on YouTube.
And DJ Singh, go to bed.
Yeah, DJ Singh, go to bed, mate. You should have been in bed hours ago. That's it. Take care, and we'll see you next time. I would think in 2 weeks' time. Take care.
Sounds good.
Good night.